The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
20.
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Sport! Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this Feel Good Friday, January 12th, 2024, this sports program starts now. Football! He's beautiful, isn't it?
Always.
Football will make you feel all the emotions.
Truly.
Football will have you riding the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, make you feel the most exhilarated you ever felt in your life and the most depressed and disappointed you've ever felt in your entire life. That is what football can do for a city, for a town, for a community, for a society.
What?
And we are sitting on the eve of Super Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah.
2 games tomorrow, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. There's a couple weather situations brewing, more specifically in Kansas City and in Buffalo. Kansas City potentially, allegedly, minus 20 wind chill. Minus 20 wind chill for the Miami Dolphins traveling in to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are in the middle of trying to build a dynasty. Now, it hasn't been the cleanest year, but they still have a home playoff game. So that means something. I would say yes. The Miami Dolphins, though, you start thinking about it, you start thinking, oh, this is a track team. This is explosive, high-powered, take shots team. They're not scared to run the ball.
No.
Might have to if it's negative 20 wind chill. We'll see what they are made of. We'll also chit-chat about what's going on in Buffalo this weekend. Potentially 10 inches of snow, maybe up to 20 inches of snow. That could come Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday. I have no idea because up there, easy come, easy go with the snow. I had the incredible opportunity to play in a game that had 2 feet of snowfall during it. Whenever I was a rookie in Buffalo, it's actually kind of beautiful. It's actually kind of nice. But when that wind starts howling, it becomes quite a shit show football-wise. And I think we're loving everything about the prospects of that. Jim Cantori will join us.
What? Whoa!
Yeah, what?
Hall of Famer.
A man who's a weatherman for the Weather Channel for the last 37 years. 4 decades. This man's been eating hurricanes. Whenever they're telling you, go inside, he's put on a jacket and running directly outside, trying to eat a tornado.
That's right.
That's what Jim Cantori's been doing for longer than I've been alive.
That's crazy.
Longer than I have been alive, this man's been doing this. He'll join us in the second hour to let us know what we need to potentially keep an eye on.
Sure.
Obviously, A.J. Hawk will be here in the second hour. Michael Lombardi will be here.
Yep.
He has deep ties and roots to the New England Patriots, who have made a monumental hire.
Yep.
First head coach hire of this coaching cycle, coming just 1 day after their previous head coach, Bill Belichick, was announced to be leaving. Also, we have a general manager hired in Washington. There's a lot to break down on this great Feel Good Friday. One half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. Tone, with the betting, what do we need to be thinking about going into Super Wild Card Weekend? The weather game?
Yep.
Who's hot, who's not? What's it seem like the public's riding with here, Tone?
So you teased it early on the weather games. Make sure you pay attention to those weather games. Speaking of that game, the Steelers are 0-10 or 1-11 without TJ Watt. So something to look at there. Josh Allen, though, 2-6 ATS in the playoffs, but double-digit dogs have done well. The dogs as a whole have done well wild card weekend, 20-10 over the last 6 seasons. So something to look at there. Your best wild card weekend quarterback. Joe Flacco is 5-0 against the spread in wild card weekend. He is 11-4 ATS altogether in the playoffs.
That's because people look at him and go, what's this thing? Whenever he says grass, the way he talks, they're like, this big dumb dipshit can't be good. The sports books think that Joe Flacco's going to crumble every time the playoffs come around, so they give him a favorable line. And then all of a sudden you think and you look and it's like, Joey Flacco's 11-4 against the spread in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Joey Flacco 4-0, 5-0 during Super Wild Card Weekend.
Going for the record as well for most road playoff wins, tied with Brady at 7 right now.
Now, on the flip side of that, C.J. Stroud is an anomaly.
Yeah, he's a
And
dog.
home dogs are 8-3-2 against the spread over the last 10 years. So
Something's got to give.
Yep.
The Toxic Table is here at Ty Schmidt. Big weekend for you guys.
Here you go.
Absolutely huge.
Congratulations, by the way, to getting to this weekend whenever at the beginning of the season, middle of the season, had no idea if it was going to be possible. And now here we sit. Why not the Packers? We said it yesterday, and I saw the traction that it got around Green Bay folks. You guys are playing your best ball, and at the biggest position playing the best ball that they have played all year. Why not the Green Bay Packers as we sit on this Feel Good Friday?
Absolutely. I mean, in the best case scenarios, this is kind of what I envisioned. Hey, if Aaron Jones is healthy and he's toting the rock a bunch, and Jordan Love is developing, and now Jordan Love has surpassed, I think, what anyone thought he was going to do in his first season.
Exceeded expectations. We have.
He has. Dak led the NFL in touchdown passes this year. Jordan Love was number 2, so that's not bad. Aaron Jones has rushed for over 100 yards in 3 consecutive games. He's playing his best ball. He doesn't have a whole season's worth of hits on him because he's been hurt. And then again, it's just kind of it is house money. I mean, I know you can say that and all that stuff happens, but it wasn't, with Rodgers a lot of times when you're watching the Packers in the playoffs, it truly is Super Bowl or bust. And yeah, you obviously want to see them make a long playoff run, but any Packers fan would be lying if they told you they went into this season saying hey, Super Bowl or bust this year. Everything that I have wanted out of this season has happened, and now it is just, hey, let's go out and shock the world. Why not? No one's hotter than Jordan Love right now. Yeah, Dak's playing well, but all the pressure's on the Cowboys. And now we're talking about, hey, if Big Mike doesn't win on Sunday, he's going to get shit canned. So I'm feeling great going into Jerry World. A lot of success there in the past as well. So yeah, I'm in a great mood today, and I'm very excited for this weekend.
There's always a lot of pressure whenever you're wearing the star. I think we know that since the beginning because of how great of a promoter Jerry Jones is. But the pressure is going to be on the Packers defense.
Absolutely.
And Hembo sent me some stats here. Dallas's team total for this game, 29.5, highest of any team playing this week.
Wow.
Okay, so Dallas is expected to score the most amount of points. Now, obviously, it's indoor, in a dome, in their house where they've been a buzzsaw. But that Packers defense has obviously been the most concerning thing for the Green Bay Packers all season, even though you got a first-year starting quarterback. Packers defense ranked 27th on first down this season. So they let people get on schedule, get on script more than anybody. Maybe that changes for the playoffs, even though that's the worst, obviously, among all the teams that are remaining.
Well, and I said this to Chuck yesterday, if it, obviously not looking ahead, but if they were to play a San Francisco where hey, they're going to just run the ball down your throat. I would have been very concerned, but you look at the Cowboys, they have Pollard, but
how's Jair Alexander's ankle?
He rolled it. Should be good to go, is what they're saying. He's still, he's probable, questionable.
Can we get him on a microphone today?
Please. Need it. But also, their pass rush has kind of been getting home a little bit. They sacked Justin Fields 6 times. And granted, Dallas's O-line is unbelievable. But if they can get pressure, can't just let Dak drop back and kind of pick them apart all day, which obviously is a concern. But I think the Cowboys are going to end up they're going to throw it 40 times. They just are. They're not going to just pound. I mean, I guess old takes exposed if they rush for 300 yards on Sunday, but I just don't see. They haven't really done that all year. So I'm a little.
Big Mike McCarthy would like to light up the Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a revenge game as well.
Right.
Yeah. Not only is he potentially coaching for his job, which I think Big Mike has had to do literally since first season down there.
Yeah.
But also, Packers said, "Out you go." You think he forgets that?
No.
He might forgive, but he won't forget.
Never,
ever.
No.
Speaking of never forgetting, yesterday we got a chance to remember and relive a lot of great times in one particular city, one particular area, one particular region known as the Revolution region, about a dynasty that was created by a man who was both the head coach and the general manager for a team that'll never be duplicated ever again in professional sport.
Nope.
Especially, more specifically, in the NFL. Now, less than 24 hours later, there's a brand new head coach for the New England Patriots. Obviously, he's a one-time Super Bowl champion. Didn't get a chance to play in that game because he was injured, but an absolute dog for the New England Patriots as a player. Then he retired for a couple years. Then he came back to coach for the New England Patriots. Has been there ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayo is now the head coach
Yeah.
Former player, obviously, I'm pumped up about that. Every former player is pumped up about that. We've heard numerous free agents now allegedly go on the record and say, since Mayo's coming back, they want to come back to New England. This is legitimacy, just complete baton passover, seems like, is how everybody's viewing this. Con man, I know yesterday was a rough one.
It was.
I know yesterday was emotional.
Sure.
I know you watched a lot of those sad song tribute videos that were making their way around the internet. Hell, I even got choked up watching them. And I'm from Pittsburgh and played for the Colts. So I couldn't even fathom what you were going through. But now that we got the next one, the promised prince, if you will.
That's right. Yeah.
Gerard Mayo is now your head coach. How do you feel as a Patriot?
Fantastic. And you mentioned the sad videos. I watched them right before the show. I'm not
Right
just,
before the show.
I'm not just going to leave Bill in the dust.
It's been a long week.
It has been a long week, but sometimes you need those emotions. It was nice to feel that nostalgia, if you will, with Bill, and I'll love him forever, no matter what. But looking forward, I mean, this Gerard Mayo thing has got me completely rejuiced. I would say second wind, but this itself probably counts for 8 to 10 wins, if you will, in my sales. First black head coach in New England, love that. And when you just think about the entire succession plan from a zoomed out view a little, guys started coaching in 2019. It's 2024, and the fact that Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo last summer made their contracts so that they were both 2-year deals. So the plan was that the succession would happen after the 2024 season. Obviously, you go 4-13. That's going to expedite some things. But the fact that Bill Belichick knew, hey, this is the guy, and the fact that he was only coaching for 4 years and they still feel that confident in who he is as a coach, that makes me feel even better. You mentioned the free agent. Mark Daniels reported that he spoke to a free agent for the Patriots and it wasn't part of his plan before, but now that Gerard Mayo is the head coach, it is the number one priority to return to the Patriots. Now, is that Jalen Reagor? Maybe. Hopefully it's Kyle Duggar and Josh Uche and Mike Onwenu and some of the guys that we do kind of need to re-sign to kind of keep that team together. But like you said, too, he won a Super Bowl in 2014, didn't play, so you got to assume that fire still burns. He was part of the teams from 2008 to 2015 where they only did win that one Super Bowl. Well, that was part of the era Ninkovich mentioned yesterday for that 04 to 2014 where they had so many great teams, 18-1 team, but they didn't win those Super Bowls. So that part of it makes me juiced up, too, because he knows what it was like in that era, in the most dominant era that the Patriots.
How was he as a player?
As a player, let me think. In his first 5 seasons, he had 657 tackles. In 1 year, he had 175 tackles with 110 solo tackles. In 1 year, he was the defensive rookie of the year. His rookie year.
He is picking off Orlovsky. I was there for this. Jeff Saturday's on the field. He was not thrilled about
Bang. That. That's AP, by the way. That's not just some schlub. Boom.
That's Diane Gonzalez.
Oh, what's up? Who's
Dennis
that?
Pitta.
Dennis Pitta. Dog. Fitzmagic. Sorry about it. Oh, Peyton Manning. I wonder how he played against him. Vonta. Who's that? Oh, that's Tate. I thought it was Vonta Leach. I was like, he probably ate leeches once,
No, but they
too.
didn't show the Peyton Manning highlight. I did see.
didn't.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, you know how the NFL is. They don't want to bury one of their founding fathers' sons. But still, doesn't matter. I mean, look at that. Bang. Sorry. Same one from Pitta. Looks even better in that one. Sanchez, dead. It's amazing. Like, that guy being the head coach, obviously when Vrabel was announced, I was juiced up, mostly because of the fact that if it wasn't Vrabel, it was Mayo. Or if it wasn't Vrabel, or if it wasn't Mayo, it was Vrabel. So like that aspect of it in the moment on Tuesday still holds true. But I said to you yesterday in the Hawk House, I was like, hey, I'm just as pumped for Gerard Mayo to be the head coach as I am for Mike Vrabel. And the fact that we're here too, just a day later, makes me feel great because something I mentioned yesterday was the twilight zone of not having a leader, a CEO of your team. That was weird just to experience.
I like the way the Crafts handled this quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to be a team that is without a leader for a while.
No.
You know, like we don't need anybody in the building, strength staff, trainers, equipment managers. We don't need them wondering what's next. We don't need our fans wondering what's next. So them signing the succession plan last offseason or whatever, and Bill obviously being a part of it, and Kraft, that's like, in my eyes, and, you know, Kraft hasn't had to make this decision in a long time. Hasn't had to hire a GM. Hasn't had to hire a head coach in 24 years. So a lot of owners probably look around going, must be nice. Like, everybody judges Bill Belichick for having Tom Brady. All the other owners look at Kraft, I assume, and go, must be nice to have Bill Belichick just be one person is your GM and your head coach. Because the amount of failures that have been had in hiring head coaches, GMs, that have led organizations and franchises into dumps and holes that they've been trying to dig out of for decades. almost. Decades at this case. And instead, that Kraft family has had Bill Belichick for the greater part of 2.5 decades. It's like, that's a big deal.
Huge.
Now, them handling it differently than anybody else.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like, I think Kraft is an incredibly sharp dude. When he speaks slow. I don't know why that is, if that's always how he's been. But if you listen to what he's saying, he's dropping gems.
Oh, yeah.
Dropping dimes, and he's being very, very transparent, I think. So I think this move solidifies the fact that I think he's a brilliant businessman and genius owner and everything like that for the success that they've had. But also it makes me think about the McDaniels situation.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because remember, McDaniels, years back, he was the successor. That was the conversation. That's why whenever he took the coach job, allegedly turned the plane back around, went back to New England. It's known that he's the successor. I wonder how long they've had the succession thing in contracts for people. And then when McDaniels goes and be the head coach for the Raiders, it's like, all right, we need to find new succession person. It's going to be Gerard Mayo becomes that person. It's like, I wonder when and how, and why don't others tried to duplicate this entire thing?
Yeah, so there were 4 teams that have done this before, not just with head coaches. I think it was 1 head coach, 3 GMs, where that succession plan was written into the contract so that, I mean, granted, the rules changed as far as timing goes as hiring coaches, but because of that.
Yeah, but Rooney rule.
You
said it. I mean, he's a block man.
Yeah. Which, again.
Which New England.
Yeah, definitely.
What a perfect part of the country to get to experience this on a big scale. I think New England's ready for it.
New England's ready.
2024.
Bingo. It is a new era in New England, and I think a lot of people.
Everybody was pumped about Mayo.
Everyone was pumped about Mayo. Even the people who wanted Vrabel were still like, I like the fact that they had this plan, like you mentioned, that Bob Kraft knew going in that this was going to be the deal. And some people are worried about the fact, hey, why would you fire Bill Belichick and then hire a guy from the Bill Belichick tree? Because how is anything going to change? A lot of people who have been inside the building for obviously years, Tommy Curran being one of them, Phil Perry, his guy being one of them, they have talked about how like this isn't going to be just Bill Belichick 2.0. Like Gerard Mayo is a completely different person. He's not going to, act the way Bill has acted, which is great no matter what. I think New England loved the way Bill acted, and I think they are very open to a more maybe transparent, if you will, coach, pending how transparent Gerard Mayo will actually be. But I just think it's a home run. The fact that they already knew and that he's the guy, I think everybody is happy.
Feels brilliant, feels smooth.
Yeah.
Legitimately. For how smooth the smoothest it possibly could be.
Yeah. Bingo.
Whenever you're moving on from a head coach GM that's the greatest of all time. Still have the GM role open. Be excited to see what they do. Are they going to hire within? We shall see. Feels like that's the Kraft move. What were you going to say, Tom?
It's awesome for the Patriots to get the prince that was promised, but he said something that was in there that was interesting to me is after the 2024 season, this was supposed to happen according to the contract. So did Bill think he was going to get the record this season and next season and then was going to retire? And what does that do? Like if next year was going to be his last year,
he was just going to get the record. This is like an Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets situation. Remember, he was going to go to the Jets for 1 year. When he gets there, like his son, I can be shirtless on the patio more.
It's nice.
You know what I mean? I can only be in Nantucket for 4 days. I only get a chance to get any vitamin D. Maybe he goes to L.A.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah. L.A. would be
Carolina. Las Vegas. Antonio Pierce is interviewing with Tennessee Titans, which is wild. Amy Strunk says she wants to get to the front of the line.
She does.
Right.
I don't want to train, but I don't want to waste any time here.
Trades are hard.
Well, what's Strunk doing too now? Where Vrabel's not the head coach of the Patriots, like, oh shit, he was never going to coach there. Why
did we fire him because of that?
Oh wait,
Well, you got upset about that.
He was talking good about.
He was allegedly not denying.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what
the reports were she was very upset with the fact that he was, not denying the rumors that he might coach in New England.
It's all alleged.
And saying too many good things about the organization that he played for and put him into the Ring of Honor.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That speech, a little bit too happy giving that speech.
Yeah, why'd you say we?
And why'd you keep saying that? It's not like this other places. You talk about...
Talking about me?
You talking about Amy Strunk?
Yeah.
Here's his speech that he gave Michael Vrabel whenever he went into the Patriots Hall of Fame in the middle of the season last year while still being the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
Wait. Come on, we got a game to win. I can't be up here that long.
We got a game to win. I don't think they did. Did they?
Probably not.
I want to thank
No, that's
the
Buffalo.
fans.
We did. We beat
I haven't
Buffalo.
been back as
Braves-
much as I should since 2009, but I want to thank the fans. I want to thank the fans
Kiesel, right?
that made
Sweet
coming
Brett
and playing
Kiesel
in this
jersey in the
stadium
background.
unbelievably special. When we traveled, you were there. When we were here, you were there.
Right.
I can imagine how you screamed and yelled at the night games on third down, and when you threw the snow, and every memory that comes back right now. So I want to thank you, fans, okay, for the opportunity to stand here today in front of you. Also in front of my
Chills.
teammates, I want to thank them. I want to recognize Logan Mankins, Bill Parcells, Dante Scarnecchia, who was one of the toughest assistant coaches I've ever been a part of in 25 years in the National Football League. But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special
Ryland
place
down here.
with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Love you, Mike.
So that speech obviously was one that we all saw, and we learned of him going into the Hall of Fame as it was happening.
Yeah.
There wasn't much fanfare going in. There's reports, allegedly, that Amy was not exactly thrilled about that, and then obviously there was reports, allegedly, that Braves didn't want Rand to be the general manager whenever they were going through the general manager hiring process. Feels like there was a lot of things leading up to the moment of him getting fired. Nonetheless, he's still available. Gerard Mayo, hired from within for the New England Patriots. Joining us now is a man who knows a lot about the New England Patriots organization. Probably can answer a lot of these questions that we potentially have.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of our favorite Italian Americans, a man who's been an author,
Right.
a speaker,
Right.
a podcast host,
Right.
a live show host,
Right.
an email newsletter writer,
Wide.
and a three-time Super Bowl champion. Coach, consultant, GM, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
Hey guys, how we doing? How things?
Lombo, are you wearing that Brady hoodie because Belichick
Yeah.
didn't thank you at his press conference, so you're officially on
No,
Team
I'm
Brady?
okay. No, I'm wearing it because I'm forever grateful for both of them. You know, I think whenever you get around greatness and you can appreciate it, you know, it's something that means a lot to your career. And it's rare that you get to touch greatness. I mean, I've been very fortunate that I watched Joe Montana. I watched Bill Walsh. I've seen great players in this league. Ronnie Lott, who may be the greatest of all, you know, and I've been able to watch them up close and personal. And this coach who retired, Coach Belichick, yesterday, to me is...
He ain't retired,
whoa.
Lombo. He retired?
Well, I mean, he retired. Everybody's moving on. Look, I think it's the best for both parties.
Okay.
I really do. So I'm not saying that. I just think, to me, being around him, watching him, the memories that I have of him walking into Berea on First Avenue in 1991 as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns and handing me a slip of paper about how we were going to build the team to where, you know, he's come to now is just truly remarkable. And it's been a pleasure to be a part of it since 1991.
Yeah, Bill Belichick is obviously special, and we're very grateful for you stopping by here today. I think yesterday you had a little surgery of some sort on. Is that
Oh,
what-
no.
I mean, of all days, I have to go get a root canal, and I have to do it on the day that all this news happens, right? Like, who could have predicted this, right? I got a guy sticking stuff in my mouth, and my phone's flying off, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening around the world here today." But
If you could
you know,
hurry
I
it
was
up.
fortunate. I got out. I saw the press conference, which I thought was well done. I thought it was mutual respect on both parties. I thought Kraft gave a great a lesson in there that a lot of owners, if you're David Tepper, if you're Josh Harris, I think he gave a great lesson about being a new owner in the league, about how he made a huge mistake, not trusting his instincts, listening to too many people outside the building, not hiring Bill when Parcells went to the Jets, changing course, and then deciding 2 years later to trust his gut. It was a Hall of Fame decision, and Mr. Kraft belongs in the Hall of Fame for that decision because if he doesn't make that decision, there's not 6 Super Bowls, there's not 8 appearances, there's not unlimited conference championships, and the value of his franchise may not be at the same level.
And the Patriot Place and everything else they got built up around there. It's a phenomenal business built around a phenomenal football team. Let's talk about that football team. They have a new head coach, and it is being reported now that there was a succession plan. Shout out to that show, by the way. I think it won a bunch of
Unbelievable.
awards.
Congrats.
Wom's Games, I think, took a couple home.
Roman.
Roman, congrats to them. But there
Roman.
was a succession plan allegedly in place.
Who is going to be Roman in this one? That'll be the interesting character to develop that Patriot, right? Who will
We
be the
don't
Roman
need
character?
don't need a Roman. We
I
don't need a
assume
Roman.
there will always be.
Yeah, we need
a
walk
Roman.
cams. Nope.
But anyways,
Yeah.
with the succession plan, before last season, they both signed through 2024. I guess Bill and Mayo and Kraft knew that he was potentially going to get the baton. Then there were stories back in the day of like McDaniels is the successor. That's why whenever he was potentially coming to the Colts, then he turned around, flew back, had a meeting. He's the successor. Has that always been how it's been planned? Like, is there a coach on the staff that has been told, hey, if Bill was to retire or if Bill was to move on or Bill was to be done, you are going to be the successor? And how come more teams don't do that? Like, I feel this feels like a smooth, clean, like smart way to handle this particular situation by Kraft. But I guess not every building has the successor inside of it. Is that kind of why? Enlighten me a little bit.
Oftentimes the successor gets hired away. I think Alabama, you wonder why they didn't have somebody right there. Maybe they will hire Tommy Rees. I don't know. But I think, knowing that Nick could train the next coach, but what happens is these other teams come in and take the coach away, and all of a sudden, can you turn down? And nobody really knew how long Bill was going to coach at New England, and did the Patriots. I think this is a lot about shifting of the organization more than replacing. I mean, Gerard Mayo is not going to replace Bill Belichick in every facet of Bill Belichick's job. He's going to replace him as the coach of the team, and that's going to be a lot for him to handle, and he'll do a great job with that. However, the other roles and hats that Bill wore within the organization are then going to be split up. So it's kind of like unfair to compare Gerard to Bill because Bill's role was so vastly different. And they're going to need to bring people in. They're going to need to have this committee together to work together to utilize the structure that was in place, built by Bill. But now people are going to have different roles and different responsibilities, which is going to have to bring everybody together.
Have you ever heard of that, though? Like, is that normal to have it in contract? Hey, you're the successor? That feels like a big deal.
No, it is a big deal, because I think ultimately you're not sure about any coach, right? You know that if the guy is really good, you don't know if Belichick's going to leave. And typically good coaches get swept up. I think this year, Pat, it is a generational situation in professional football in terms of the availability of quality head coaches, winning head coaches. Mike Vrabel's in the open market. Jim Harbaugh is available, 71% winning percentage at San Francisco. Bill Belichick's available. Dan Quinn took a team to a Super Bowl. He would be a leading candidate, but now we have all this. And so I think because of that, teams that may still have a head coach currently have to ask themselves the fundamental question, would we be better off with Coach Y, who's available, or with our present-day coach? I'm not trying to get anybody fired. I'm just saying that is a fair question to ask if you are truly a business person in terms of how do we improve the team.
I love that all Chicago Bears fans yesterday, seemingly, Jay said, we're keeping Eberflus over Bill Belichick.
Come on.
We're keeping Eberflus over Jim Harbaugh. We're keeping Eberflus over Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. We're keeping Eberflus over all this. And they're not the only ones, but they just so happen to be the loudest because the announcement about Eberflus was just a few weeks ago. Eberflus had that team turn around towards the tail end of it, which leads to this question from Tone.
Yeah, Lombo, now that Bill is out and Kraft wished him all the best when he's on the sidelines, except for when he's on the sidelines versus the Patriots. So we all took that he is going to continue coaching. Where do you think the best fit for Bill could be?
I think, when he left Cleveland, if you read the book, The Education of a Coach by David Halberstam, there's a quote in there that Halberstam wrote where he said the next job that Bill took when he left Cleveland would be a job that allowed him to build the culture, that allowed him to install his system and the players that fit within the framework of the culture. Now, most people read into that as power hungry, right? Most people say, well, he wants all the power. That's not what they're saying. The same thing, that's not what Jim Harbaugh would want. They're culture hungry. Those coaches need to be able to have the culture that fits their style. They can't have the general manager talking to the team or the owner having a radio show or somebody else having something else with the team. There has to be one voice in the organization that dictates the culture, that creates the direction, that holds the players accountable. And when you look around the NFL, when you don't have that ability, then it's very challenging. Andy Reid, when he left Philadelphia, He went to Kansas City. Clark Hunt still had Scott Pioli as his president, general manager. Andy Reid wanted to have all the control. He wasn't power hungry. He was culture hungry. So then they got rid of Pioli. They gave Andy Reid all the authority. However, he hired then John Dorsey and now Brett Veach to help him and assist him as they both build the culture together. And I think that's where the next job will be, whether it's this year or somewhere else. And you're going to have to fit that criteria, right? The Washington football team didn't want that criteria. They wanted to have what they did today, Adam Peters to be the president, CEO, general manager, and then let him hire the coach. And that's their prerogative. But for those guys, for Harbaugh, for Belichick, even for Vrabel, you have to have that. Vrabel was in a similar situation that Harbaugh was in San Francisco. So when Harbaugh was in San Francisco, there was conflict within the building. The 49er front office decided they had enough of Harbaugh. It was too hard. He left and went to Michigan. They kept Trent Baalke as the general manager. He hired Jim Tomsula. That didn't work. They hired Chip Kelly. That didn't work. And next thing you know, here comes Kyle Shanahan. And what did they do with Kyle Shanahan? They said, Kyle, you're going to run the team. You hire who you want as your general manager.
47.
And now you build the culture.
Lynch. Give me Lynch.
Bring him in.
Need him. We need to do this. We need to create it. If you have a special mind, you should be able to do that. He's not power hungry. He's culture hungry. What a spin on that.
Love that.
That is I'm going to remember that bar for the rest of my life, I think, because, whenever you go somewhere and you say like, nah, I'm keeping this, they can spin it. You let somebody else, this guy wants all of it. No. Just want to make sure it's right.
That's all.
Just want to make sure it's right. And there's nothing wrong with that, Lombo. Nothing at all wrong with
you can't do Bill can't be Bill if he doesn't have that. Like, you can't be good at that. And I think he knew that when he left Cleveland. That was the biggest issue in Cleveland. Is Art Modell loved to talk. He loved to put expectations on the team. He wanted the team to be his team. And that's every right every owner has, right? I think it happened in Denver when Dan Reeves was there. Dan Reeves was very successful in Denver, and Pat Bowlen said, look, I want my team back. I want to be able to be the guy that runs the team. Okay, you fire Dan Reeves, you go on, and life moves on. But for Dan Reeves to be successful, for Mike Shanahan to be successful, for Sean McVay to be successful, they need to be able to control the environment to which the players are in. We are not basketball. There's too many players. And so the coach has to stand in front of the team and be able to dictate the culture. Because having spent so many years at the Raiders, when everyone thinks the owner is in control of the culture, you have a Civil War-like environment.
If the coach isn't all in on the owner being the guy, everybody just has to know whose role is what. And I think Bill Belichick, as soon as he gets in a building, everybody in the city knows whose role is what. And I think Harbaugh, same exact thing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to hear that you think Vrabes has that same exact type of kind of feel. Him getting fired was wild. That was a wild thing. But let's not move on from New England just yet, because Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Lombo, first things first. It's not Gerard Mayo, it's Gerard. Just Jerod.
Okay.
Rod.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So, can you text me that and spell it out?
Yeah. We'll do the phonetic spelling for you. Also,
Thank you.
happy 25th anniversty of The Sopranos. Yep. I know you're probably bricked up about that.
I should have been at that dinner. I'm so disappointed I didn't get invited to that dinner. But anyway, life goes on.
Yeah.
You should have been there.
Should have been.
Now that I think about it,
Oh, yeah.
should have been there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Cutledge was probably there.
I'm sure he
probably.
was.
Stellato.
Was there. And, if I had Tommy Cutlet's agent, I probably would have been there. That's the problem, right?
You see.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay.
But Lamo, thinking about the Patriots and the future, kind of you mentioning culture kind of makes me think about it. Do they need to change anything, or is it just kind of, hey, that culture's in place, Mayo, let's just keep it rolling? And do you think Mayo's philosophy will be much different than Bill's? Is this going to be a kind of different team era for New England? And then what happens with Bill O'Brien, the Steve Belichick, the guys that are in place now? Are they safe, or do you think this might be a complete total overhaul here?
Well, I think certainly on defense it will be a complete total overall. I can't speak for Bill O'Brien. The offensive line coach, Adrian Clem, had some health issues, so he had to leave, and some of the offensive coaches have already left. Ross Douglas went back to Syracuse. So, to me, one of the things that gets often lost in all this in terms of what is the Patriot way is really accountability, holding everybody accountable for doing their jobs to the best that they can do it. And how how Mayo gets there, how he gets there. He has to do it his own way because no one's going to duplicate what Belichick did. No one can be Belichick. We know that. No one can copy his style, his mannerism, and how he handles the team. So one thing Mayo knows is he's watched it. But what has got to be the cornerstone of his head coaching tenure is holding people accountable. You know, Jim Harbaugh has a different style than Bill Belichick. There's no question, right? Jim Harbaugh is way different. But Jim Harbaugh and Belichick meet at the same line of accountability. Harbaugh doesn't call offensive plays. He doesn't call defensive plays. He runs the program, he runs the team, and he holds coaches and players accountable. That's what a good head coach has to do. That's what Mayo has to do. He's got to hire good assistants, hold them accountable, develop the talent from within, and move forward. And that's where they're going to go. I think there'll be a change in defense, no question. Offensively, Bill O'Brien signed a 3-year contract when he came in. Now, whether he stays or not, I think those are the discussions that are ongoing.
Need a quarterback, obviously. You need a quarterback, everything changes. Hopefully the defense is able to remain. The no title of who's the coordinator and everything like that finds it, you know, from the outside looking in, who did what, how much did Gerard Mayo do, what'll stick around, we shall see. The Patriots got a new head coach, though.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations. Let's talk about the Tennessee Titans, who are interviewing Antonio Pierce, I do believe, either today or the next few days. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the Raiders and why they haven't necessarily just hired him. But let's talk about the Tennessee Titans, how we got to this point. We showed the video of Mike Vrabel giving the speech whenever he went into the Patriots Hall of Fame. And at the beginning of it, he goes, keep it down. We got a game to win.
Yep.
Okay?
We.
And I think he had probably
a couple in there.
An entire tin of Coke on the bottom, and then every pouch of Zyn from the thing on the top while he was doing that. You know, one of the coolest dudes of all time. We all have great respect for him. Now, Schefter reported to us on Monday. Jeez, that was only Monday.
Yeah, I can't believe that was Monday.
Long week. It's been a long week.
National champion.
Schefter told us on Monday that Rand wasn't necessarily the GM that Vrabel was hoping for whenever they were doing their GM search. After the last GM, obviously, Vrabel ended up hating because he traded away A.J. Brown during draft night. It was the only weapon we had. So that whole situation that we did not know about, if that would have got publicly, we would have thought this was going to be ugly from the beginning. Then Amy Strunk, the owner, comes out and says this in an interview with the Tennessee Titans content crew.
There's been discussion in a lot of different circles about the possibility of trading the head coach. Was consideration given to trading Mike Vrabel?
Well, yes, there was, but there's a bit of misconception about a coach's contract, say, versus a player's contract. A coach's contract, you can't trade them unless they're a willing partner to that trade. So, yes, we thought about it, but at the end of the day, with league rules the way they are, it would have maybe put us back 3 weeks. And, you know, honestly, to get the right head coach, I was just not willing to go to the back of the line and take a chance of missing out on someone we really wanted.
All right, so we all think, wow, that sounds phenomenally dumb. Now, we don't know the process, though. You know, we don't know the process. Can you enlighten us a little bit on what she meant there? Is she accurate in that entire depiction? And Vrabel getting fired was a shocker to you, I assume, as it was everybody else.
Because here's what I say, and she's entitled to do whatever she wants with her team.
Owner.
But I've seen this movie before. It happened in San Francisco. You know, those head coaches are hard to find. Great head coaches are really hard to find. You're just not going to go out your back door and 3 of them are going to show up. I mean, why are there 7 coaches every year that get fired out of 32? Because there's not a lot of men that can really do the job really well. It's really a hard job to do. So I don't disagree. I don't agree with her decision. But what she's accurate with is to trade him. She would need Neil Cornrich, who's his agent, to cooperate with her, and she would have to find a willing team who then had all the leverage in the trade negotiations, because the willing team would say, okay, why would I pay you anything? And I'll just sit back and watch you fire the guy. And once you engage in trade talks, you have essentially fired your coach. You can't bring him back, right? You can't bring him back. So, and then you give him all the leverage in the trade discussion. And so what are you going to get out of the deal? Different. See, everybody wants to compare an apple to an apple. Sean Payton was out of football. He had a told contract. He had a year. So there was a price you had to pay to get into that game. And that was understandable. This is a lot more complicated. She did the right thing in terms of not trying to trade him. I'm not sure she did the right thing thinking she can replace him, especially when you go through their drafts and you look at all the failed first-round picks. And look, Mike wanted Ryan Calling. What Adam said, I've heard the same thing. I think it's completely accurate. And they decided to hire Rand, and Rand comes from a different program, a different set of circumstances, and he wants to run his team. The press release that she issued that said that she thinks she has a bright young quarterback, for me, would be alarming because I'm not sure I'm there on Will Levis yet. I don't see that. I haven't seen that in his play as of yet.
I think she also said the words aligned, too, which makes us think that maybe there were some other conversations that were taking place behind closed doors where maybe Vrabes and everybody saw things differently. Is that what? No?
Oh, there's no – see, here's what people completely misunderstand about the NFL. Everybody is on the same page. Not everybody's aligned. Okay, there's a complete difference. Everybody's on the same page as soon as the ball gets kicked in the air, but we lose a game, the alignment goes out the window. Alignment requires a philosophical understanding that you both share, that you both are working towards the same goal, that you see it the same way. And that's really hard to do. That's really challenging. So alignment requires a lot of work. And it requires two people in the building, the GM and the head coach. Because remember this, Pat, there's only two people in the building that are paid to win. Everybody else can get jobs somewhere else. You can be 2-15 and have the best offense in football, you're going to get another job. You can be the best special team coach on a 1-16 team, you'll get another job. The only two people who get paid to win are the head coach and the general manager. And if they're not in a complete alignment philosophically on how to build a team, it'll never work. You'll be on the same page. The first time you lose, you're off.
So saying he was fired means that he went into that meeting with them and fought for his job, and then they said, no, we're going in a different direction. And then the Pete Carroll situation as well. That seemed like they just, right? And he said, I competed for the job in there whenever he went in to meet with either Schneider or ownership or whoever it was. How do you think Vrabel knew that was possible? Do you think Pete knew that was possible? Like, how much do you think they knew going into those situations?
I think Vrabel thought, look, if she's going to pick Rand over me, then if things don't get straightened out here, I can't win here anyway. So if she fires me, good for me. I'll get another job.
Got it.
Okay. Because here's the thing that you got to understand is sometimes you just can't. There's hard jobs. Every job's hard, but when the owner makes them more difficult, then they become even harder. Whereas Pete's a 60% winning percentage coach. He took his team to a Super Bowl. He is going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Hall of Fame coach. There's no question. But I think what hurt Pete more than anything was the inability to fix the defense. 2 years in a row, this defense hasn't gotten fixed. And I'm sure Jody Allen was probably wondering, where is the defensive magic? And I think when you look at Pete's career, he's always been a good defensive coach, but it hasn't translated over the last couple seasons since the Legion of Boom. So I think he couldn't solve that problem, and not being able to solve that problem, I think, forced their hand. I don't think they wanted to fire Pete. I think it just felt like it was the right time. And the way they handled it, look, Pete's the most energetic 72-year-old guy you're ever going to find. But I think ultimately they just, after 14 years, time ran out.
Yeah, him chewing his gum, him playing quarterback, him doing it all. It just felt like, hey, Pete's going to make the announcement when he's done.
Yeah.
So for it to drop the other day, it was like, damn, kind of alarming and surprising.
You did say the gum was kind of fighting back this year.
That didn't I? That was one of my.
Yep.
I said, hey, it feels like his Dahn part of the chew a little bit longer than it was in the past, as if the gum was beating him a little bit. What if they saw the same thing?
Defense. I mean, they lose when you lose at home. Pittsburgh with Mason Rudolph comes in. You can't stop the run. They haven't stopped the run in 3 years. I mean, that's been a real issue. And Pete's a really good defensive coach, but I think sometimes maybe the messaging doesn't get there. There's always been the Russell thing, and let him cook. But the defense hasn't been the same. And I think that kind of caught up with them.
Ty Schmidt has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, looking ahead to the Super Wild Card weekend here, you talked about, Bill and like the job openings and all that kind of stuff, and we've heard a bunch this week. Hey, if Cowboys don't win on Sunday, there's a chance that Big Mike's out and maybe Bill goes there. But the Packers last 2 weeks have played really well. I obviously know their defense is a liability. Do you think they have any shot to win that game? And which other teams do you think might be susceptible to upset this weekend?
Well, I mean, Green Bay, look, they're, with the 7.5 point line moved down to 7. Now, they played last year. Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback in Green Bay, and it was the best game that the Packers had offensively. They had 420 yards. Rodgers had 20 passes. He was over 200 some. They ran for 222 yards. It was one of their best offensive days, which lends you to believe that LaFleur understands how to attack the Cowboys in the Dan Quinn scheme, which is usually what's the case is. Green Bay's always better when they know a team. Like last week, they really knew the Bears defense as good as they've been playing. It didn't look like the old Bears that we had saw in prior weeks. They knew it. They had every play call. Love was great. And then it's going to come down to, can the Packers get stopped? They held the Cowboys to 5 for 15 on third down when they played them in Lambeau. So they actually have a plan. I think, to me, when I first looked at the line, I thought, wait, that's way too much. It just doesn't seem right. But the pressure is going to be on Dallas. And I don't know what Jerry will do. Here's what I will say. Mike McCarthy has done a great job. Dak has played really well. It's been the best year of Dak's career. Now that's got to carry over into the playoffs. They need Gilmore to be healthy because these young receivers are really good for Green Bay. And if Watson's healthy, remember that was his coming out game in Green Bay last year when he caught all those passes. I just think it's going to be one of those games where neither team will have control of the game because of the viability of their offenses. And it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. Who can control the clock? Green Bay had it 35 minutes when they played the last time. The Cowboys only had it 30. Green Bay won in overtime.
So if Mike McCarthy is fired, let's say the Packers go in there, Jordan Love does what Jordan Love has done here over the last...
Yeah, since week 11.
He's phenomenal to watch. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. I mean, fadeaway balls. He is just so confident. Seemingly the offense is working perfectly. Shout out to LaFleur getting that thing. Let's say they go in there and win. Bill Belichick with Jerry Jones. How do you think that would go? If that was, this is a lot of hypotheticals. Packers would have to win. Jerry would have to fire Mike McCarthy after going 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. And then if that was the case, okay, now Bill potentially, that's where everybody's putting him. How do you think Bill and Jerry Jones would operate if all those things took place?
Well, I know Bill and Jerry get along really well, and Steven too, right? And so I think a lot of it would have to come down to the vision of how this is all going to operate. Like I said earlier, can Bill do what he wants to do? Parcells was there. He can tell Bill how it would be to work. Bill's usually the only guy speaking on the team. Jerry has a radio show every week that kind of talks about the team, what they're going to do. I don't know how it would work. I know there's mutual respect. If it was the other way, say Green Bay lost, would Green Bay do something with Mark Murphy's in the final year of his deal? He's got one more year. Could his parting gift be give Green Bay Bill Belichick? I don't know. I think a lot of these teams that have coaches, right?
Are you okay?
A lot of these teams that have
just
coaches.
Rod Mayo a little bit?
Yeah. Mailed all over himself.
I just figured, that I've been thinking about it, but there's no way. But, oh, boy, that would be awesome.
Just say, again, I'm not trying to get anybody fired. I think you have to look at it this way. I think you have to make a list of coaches that are on the hot seat next year that if they don't win and deliver, they could be out. And so this is a generational moment, right? You're not going to have this many, even Pete Carroll, Hall of Fame coach, Bill Belichick, Hall of Fame coach, Jim Harbaugh, 71% winning percentage, Mike Vrabel. That's 4 great head coaches. Now, I understand 2 of them are older. I get that, but there's an opportunity here that, remember this, and you guys are way too young to remember this, but there was a moment. Leon Hess was the owner of Hess Oil. Brilliant man, wonderful man, really wonderful. He owned the New York Jets, okay? He owned the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. He loved Rich Kotite. Rich Kotite was an assistant at the Jets. So when Rich Kotite was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, he was 7-2. They melted down. He lost his job. When he became available, Leon Hess fired Pete Carroll because it was once in a lifetime opportunity for him to hire Rich Kotite. Now that proved to be a disaster, but the mindset that Hess had, right? The mindset that Hess had was the right mindset, and it wasn't fair to Pete. It wasn't fair to Pete. Think about Pete's career. He got fired for Rich Kotite and he got fired for Bill Belichick. You can't have 2 opposite spectrums in your career to get fired.
Yeah. Then the NCAA ran him out of USC. Yeah, it sucks.
So,
and he still remained.
I don't think you could ever say to any team that has look. If I'm Minnesota, I think Kevin O'Connell's a really good coach. I think Shane Steichen's a really good young coach. I don't think that's the case. Sean McVay, there's coach John Harbaugh. Those guys aren't going to. They have good coaches, but if you're not sure, then I think it's something you have to consider.
That's what Jim Harbaugh did to me the other day. Respect, like this. If they call me a Michigan man when I die, it'd be good enough for me. I would love to be on a team in which he coaches. I couldn't even fathom it. But speaking of coaching there, when you said, think about Green Bay, young quarterback, very good.
Yep.
Defense with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
First rounders all over.
What do you think Bill Belichick would do with that amount of talent on defensive side of the ball? He's never, I don't think, had 9 first rounders on the defensive side of the ball?
10 if they play Van Ness.
Yeah, right.
And then on the offense, young quarterback, Aaron Jones, young weapons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully back. I want Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh. I'm sorry, sue me. Listen, LaFleur's been great. He's
well,
really
Belichick would be the guy because Harbaugh, I don't think he's necessarily the defensive guru, although he knows football.
Culture, though. Toughness. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, how about Harbaugh? Everybody calls him quirky. His team, just tough.
Yeah.
How are we building this team? Tough.
Yeah. Him. Look, his team is him. And I've known this guy. I did not know him as a player. His brother John was, when I was at the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie Ray Rhodes was the head coach. They instructed me to find a special teams coach. We came down to 2 coaches, John Harbaugh, Rich Bisaccia. We offered it to Bisaccia. He was at Clemson at the time. The job wasn't paying
There's
anywhere
no
near
way
the money,
that's his name. There's no way that's his name. You're Italian. You're supposed to get that right.
So anyway, let me finish. So then we hired Harbaugh. And then I knew John. And then Al Davis calls me. I'm in my office one afternoon or morning or 10:30. It's never an afternoon. It's never morning when Davis called you. So he says, look, we need to hire a young quarterback coach that was an ex-player. Okay, I got it, Mr. Davis. I'll start. The next thing I know, John Harbaugh calls me on the phone and said, hey, my brother Jim's looking for work. He's done playing. Boom. So we hire him. And he's the most competitive human being I've ever been around in my life. The most competitive. All he cared about was learning ball, situational football. He fell asleep one night at his computer at his desk in an office he shared with Johnny Morton, and his nose hit the M key, and he had like 5,000 pages of M's when he woke up. I mean, that's how competitive he is. I mean, our two sons played in this Pee-wee, played in 7th grade basketball at Corpus Christi Middle School in Oakland. And Jay was on the team, and literally, Jay had 101 fever. He wouldn't let Jay not play. Jay played, they won it. I mean, he ran around that gym with the Corpus Christi championship medal like it was like he won the Super Bowl. The most competitive guy. And when I was up there this summer speaking to his team, the team was competitive, connected to him. You hire him as a head coach. If the Chargers hire him, they will be tough. They will be competitive. That team, his personality will feed through the entire team, not just the offense, but the offense and the defense. So to me, any team that has a coach that has a toughness problem, that has a culture problem, he's somebody you better – the guy won 71% of his games in pro football.
Man.
71%.
Damn.
3 straight college football playoffs, including a national championship here in college. The dude can coach ball flat out. And I didn't really know him at all. I'm happy to hear that you're one of the first people to ever hire him. Like, that is
unreal.
A phenomenal come-together story, which also leads me to believe that you literally know every human that's ever coached football or been in the football space, and we're lucky.
I was lucky to get, because it was timing, and I knew John really well. And then I got to know Jim.
Yeah, but you don't know anybody's names. So you know everybody. You don't know anybody.
I can't say them correctly. I know their names. I don't pronounce them correctly. Part of the problem. All right.
Well, so Coach Bisaccia,
I'm working on.
Coach Bisaccia
I'm working on it.
Was a legend.
I might get it down here.
I doubt it. I don't know how. I don't know. Old dog new tricks type
when
thing.
I'm in the draft, when I was in the draft room, we just nicknamed everybody. It was a lot easier.
Hey, fast guy, BYU. Because LA Rams are calling Puka BYU.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. BYU. He'll make contested catches. He ran a terrible 40, but on the field, he was very fast. I understand how that could potentially take place. After getting to watch Harbaugh's team through this year with all this stuff that happened, and then watch how he handled it through press conferences, and then obviously I got a chance to talk to him for a few moments, it's like, I love this man. I absolutely love the way he was able to rally that team, rally that crew, and also he was like this, all like Rose Bowl week, just like this. National Championship week, wouldn't even known you were in the national championship. He was himself, and I think the team fed off of that. They were fantastic. All right, let's go into the weekend now. We know that you're a man who fancies yourself a potential picker of games. You won't gamble on him, obviously, because this guy might be a GM in the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
we have no idea, but he certainly let us know of who you think we should potentially gamble on. What do you like this Super Wild Card weekend, pal?
Well, I think one thing you have to keep in mind is there's never been a 7 seed that's upset a 2 seed so far since we've had the 7 seed. So we haven't been the NC2A tournament like that. And I think weather's going to play. You guys have talked about it. Weather in Kansas City, brutal, right? The under there, to me, is a really strong play because that weather with gusting winds, Tua playing in the cold, the Miami Dolphins trying to handle the cold, all the trends go in that direction. I like the Rams a lot. The number's 3. I still think it's a strong number. I think with with Sam Laporta out, I think that really hurts them because he was their security blanket. He converted the downs and distance. If he doesn't play or at full strength, I think that really becomes an issue. It really does. And I like the Rams a lot, and I like the Packers. I think it's too close of a game and a touchdown. I think it's going to push. It was 7.5 earlier in the week. The Buffalo Pittsburgh game, I know Tone's all over this one, but with the weather, with 20-mile-an-hour winds and 20-degree temperature, I don't know. The last time this happened was the New England game. Remember the New England game when Mac Jones threw it 3 times? That was a 14-10 game. The reason I like the under in KC Miami is when they played in perfect conditions in Germany, they scored 35 points. This is imperfect conditions, and the line's at 43.5.
Also, playoff game, a little tight. Not that these guys aren't big-time players. But
unders come in.
Yeah, games are normally a little tighter. Yeah, just kind of how it goes.
I read this, and I'm not going to get the accurate. It's 15. If during the regular season, unders are typically at a 53% a bet. Playoffs, 59%.
Whoa! We like those odds. 43.5 seems like a lot for those teams to score, but they know that the public thinks to themselves, Patrick Mahomes, Tua, Tyree, Travis Kelce, they start thinking crazy. I like that under a lot. That's my favorite bet, I think, all year.
Before I go, let me ask you a question before I go. I mean, kicking a frozen football has got to be one of the hardest things you can possibly do, right?
No fun.
It's like kicking a cinder block, right? And so field goals, instead of kicking, like Miami beat Dallas with 3 54-yard field goals. You're not making a 54-yard field goal in Kansas City this weekend. Not kicking that ball as frozen as it is.
Buckner and Sanders, both great kickers, but you look at extra points here, probably going to be tough. Buffalo's Pittsburgh. I mean, you might as well go for 2 every single time.
Think about catching the ball. Chiefs wide receivers have a hard time catching them a great ball, a normal ball. This is a rock.
Well, Tua also having to handle -20. Not that anybody can handle that, but nonetheless, we appreciate you, Lombo.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. I'll work on my pronunciations. I'll be back to you.
Gerard,
Rod.
Forget it. I got
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
Bravo.
That's hilarious.
He needs to get that one right.
He doesn't get any names right.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, not even close sometimes.
He gets Bill Belichick.
You worked for him. So that was, yes, sir. One of those situations.
Yeah, all the ones he works for you.
That under, like at 43.5, I had no idea it was going to be that high. 43.5 is huge. That's not even a look. I mean, Eagles, Bucks, 43.5. They're not dealing with -20.
That weather game in there as well.
What are we even talking about here? I don't know.
No.
I guess they're thinking that maybe the defense won't want to tackle. I don't know. Let's get to a break. There's a lot more to break down. We have to make our picks officially. We have to slide into a conversation with Ryan Clark and Cantori. See you in 3. There is a crowd of about 30 people moving through the back end of the business field here. And in the middle of it is this black Samoan man who has become the most famous human on earth.
Great guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. There's thousands and thousands of people skipping class to come see your big ass.
Listen, there is thousands and thousands of you skipping class. It doesn't matter if they go to class.
Moana is one of the best animated films of all time. Okay, can't wait for the live action.
Thank you, yes.
But
You're welcome.
We talk about Moana.
What can I say except you're welcome?
And we talk about Moana.
Honestly, listen, kid, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground. Oh, that was Maui just messing around. I couldn't have buried its guts, sprouted a tree, now you got coconuts. What's the lesson? What is the takeaway? Don't mess with Maui when he's on a breakaway. And the temperature here on my skin is a map of the victories I win. Look where I've been to make everything happen. Look at the me, Maui just tickety-tapping. That's it.
Still got it.
On the Samoan side, Polynesian side, we have a word called mana. Mana is spirit. Mana is power. Mana comes from in here. It's the thing that gives you goosebumps. It's that thing you feel. It's that thing when I walked out and we felt this thing. This is mana. This is mana. It's very, very, very real, and you could feel it. Mwah. Little things like I don't get driven anywhere. I don't want to get driven anywhere. I don't like chauffeurs. Keeps me in my way just a little grounded. Like I could drive myself everywhere and not telling some guy, hey, take me here, take me there.
That is something I'm going to start saying, like, yeah. Because when they open your door, you feel so bad. I can open my own door, dude. They're trying to be courteous. It's their job. But also, the day I stop opening my own door is the day I become a big old bitch.
Here we go.
That's a big cup.
Sorry, Mike. Here's the iconic sound. You guys know it. This special Terramana toast goes out to Passion. Congratulations on your show. Very proud of you. Very proud of all you boys. And to all of you, love you guys. Thank you for the support. Keep kicking ass. Cheers. In my world, when I sit down and we're talking about movies and all this other shit, it's never this. It's never this, back with the boys, and you. So I appreciate it, and this one's to you. Thank you, boys.
See you, pal. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break here.
Oh, hold on, one more. If you smell what
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey. What? Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Sport! Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Feel-Good Friday, January 12th, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football is alive.
Yeah, it is.
Always.
Football was fun.
What?
Football was lovely.
What?
Football is spectacular.
What?
And this weekend, football is super with Wild Card Weekend. 2 games tomorrow, 3 games Sunday, 1 game Monday. We'll be talking about it all for the next 2 hours. The Talks Table is here at Boston Connor with a brand new coach for the Patriots, Rob Mayo.
Here we go, Mayo, baby.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about the Mayo. And Ty Schmidt, Green Bay Packers, big game this weekend.
Here we go.
And then one half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, 10 digs. Pittsburgh Steelers, big game this weekend against Buffalo Bills. Can't believe you guys are in. Can't believe you guys are in. Mm-hmm. Speaking of in, we have a man who's always in. Mm-hmm. Guy who's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup winner, and a COVID survivor. The current president of Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, Hawker. Oh.
Hawker, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. Lombo was great as always. I love it. He gets more and more names, I guess, mismanaged than anyone I've ever seen.
The Italian names, too. Like, that's one that should be right in his bread.
What do you call Bisaccia? What do you say for Bisaccia?
Just call him Bisacci or something
it's like sometimes he has like 3 different ways he says a name within like 10 seconds.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo.
Come on. Mike Gillespie.
There's a whole, I mean, he's a weapon, that guy, and we appreciate him joining us 1 day removed from a root canal that just so happened to happen on the same day as Bill Belichick moving on from the New England Patriots. Now, Gerard Mayo, head coach, would love to hear your thoughts. Linebacker getting an opportunity here to lead the New England Patriots. He was allegedly signed to do this like a year and a half ago. The succession plan was cut short because of a 4-13 season. Bill Belichick now leaving. He in there. Allegedly, Belichick, Kraft, and Mayo all in on this particular plan. Feels genius, feels smart. Hopefully it works so this happens in the future. Is that how you're viewing this, AJ?
Yeah, I think if we do see this work out, it will be cool to see in the future other people try to push for it in their contract, I guess. But I mean, you can only have one person in your succession plan, correct? If you're going to do this. So it's not like you can have multiple guys on staff. But yeah, I remember him as a player, obviously, as an absolute monster. And, good friend of the program, General Bobby Carpenter, played with Gerard. And I remember him telling me stories about Mayo back in the day when he was with the New England Patriots and just how smart he was, how awesome he was. And yeah, not a surprise, and I think they made the right move.
Out of the University of Tennessee, New England Patriot lifer, took 2 years off after playing before coaching to get in the financial biz with the biggest sponsor the Patriots have.
That's what I thought. I was incorrect with that. Optum is who he worked with, not Putnam.
Not a sponsor of the Patriots.
I have never heard of Optum in my entire life. Putnam is the only one. They're the ones that have like the clubs. So like the Putnam Club is that like sweet little level.
But this has nothing to do with that.
I'm pretty sure Optum is a Boston company. It's somewhere up there. Yeah, for sure.
There was a conversation before the show where I was like, that's even more, if he even plugged into the biggest sponsor, that makes sense. Yeah,
I think so.
Minnesota.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anyways.
He loves Minnesota, too.
The guy has a big brain. He's obviously a big-time player in the history of the NFL. He had how many tackles in his first 5 years?
657, 110 as a rookie. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. 110 solo.
Pretty good player, obviously an incredible coach, has been since he signed, I guess, in 2019. They saw something special. He was the promised prince. He has gotten that job. Congrats to him. Congrats to the Patriots hiring a black coach for the first time.
That's right. The whole NFL better be ready to taste the mayo, baby, because they're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. He's going to have his hands all over.
There has to be a Hellman's.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. We don't want that. No, we want our own. We want Gerard's mayo. That's what we want.
That's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. That's what needs to happen.
Because you've been mayoing.
I had to change my pants 3 times this morning because there's so much mayo in there. That's how juiced up I've been.
And anytime somebody says, this is mayo, we know.
Yeah, duh. Mayo, mayo for mayo, baby.
Yeah, we know. There's been some news that has broke while our show has been live, while we're talking to Lombardi. Mark Andrews designated to return on the practice field. Tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, #1 seed in the AFC. Obviously, likely has had a huge year at tight end for the Baltimore Ravens in replacement of Mark Andrews. But you can have 2 great tight ends. That only makes your offense even better. Here's footage from practice. He looks comfortable, looks strong, playing catch, good internet. Everything leading me to believe that this might be the year the Ravens go on a run.
Really does.
Instead of teams are losing guys in walkthroughs and jog-throughs and things like that, they're getting their best weapon back for the playoffs and their #1 seed, and they got a bye week. So you're assuming everybody that is banged up at this stage of the season, which is literally everybody on the team, is going to feel a little bit healthier, a little bit fresher next week. And Harbaugh just watched his brother win a national championship. That could be something that's motivating. This Ravens team, right time, seemingly, A.J. Hawk.
Yeah, it is. I guess the whole question is, what do they look like when they finally get out there and get to play in how many days from now? That's the thing. When you have the bye, I'm always curious to see how you react coming off of basically 2 weeks without a game.
So I think they're practicing today. I think they had a full, I bet Harbaugh, as much as they're allowed to, I'm sure they were banging. They were getting back to the fundamentals. Like, you'll get Sunday off. Yeah, we won't have game reps, which is certainly something. But normal bye week, you're out of there on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So you miss Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practice as well, which is indie period, fundamental period, full period, everything like that. And then you also miss a weekend of everything. And then obviously you come back the next week trying to catch it up, right? So this one, them practicing all the way through the full week, I don't think there's as much rust because you just missed the game. If that makes sense, AJ, do you feel that way?
Yeah, in theory, yes, it should be that way. But I know I've been on both sides of it. I just think sometimes it is weird when you're sitting for 2 weeks. Sometimes it's good to be in a rhythm. Every team does it differently. But, yeah, it's always cool to I like to watch the first half of the game when you're coming off a bye just to see what it's like. And there's no right or wrong way, I think, to get your team ready. It's just, hey, sometimes you look rusty. Sometimes you look tough. And are you good enough to be able to come back from that?
A little slow out of the gates, potentially a little bit tight. Maybe that'll be the case. I wonder what the weather will be in Baltimore next week, because we're talking about that obviously a lot this year, or this weekend. Cantor will join us in about 23 minutes. Jim Cantor, the man, Cantori, man who's been covering weather for 37 years for the Weather Channel.
Wow. Hall of Famer.
He didn't look old enough. He didn't look old enough to be doing it for 37 years.
Well, that's because all that sea salt of him just taking hurricanes in the mouth.
Exactly.
And then the absence of the eye of storms, which is the strongest sun imaginable. He's been eating those for 3.5 decades, 4 decades at this point. That's a huge part of the storyline. He was covering the Chicago.
There was some thunder snow this morning in Chicago. 3:30 a.m. He was out there in the snow. He was on with Nate Burleson this morning, I believe, talking about it. It was some wild stuff.
It's coming down like a hammer, is what he said this morning to Nate Burleson on CBS. But that's a real conversation about some of these games. The other conversations are the pressure of what the future could look like. Lombo brought this up in the last hour. I'll be excited to get your take on this whole thing. Dallas Cowboys, Big Mike McCarthy. They lose at home. Everybody's thinking Jerry Jones is going to be like, Bill Belichick, you're coming to town. Now all of a sudden we got Big Mike McCarthy available to be a head coach somewhere. Like there's a lot of things that have to happen, obviously, to get to that point. But that has certainly been a conversation piece. We're not making this up. This is just what has been happening. Lombo is like, what if the Packers lose? You don't think Murphy, with 1 year left on his contract, doesn't say, hey, here's a parting gift for this whole thing. Here's Bill Belichick. And you start looking at that team. Not that LaFleur hasn't done a fantastic job. He has. Obviously, we all think that.
Yes.
But if you think about Bill Belichick with Jordan Love, okay, so you got a quarterback. You got a couple weapons, young weapons. Going to have to figure out some stuff, potentially. But then 9 first-rounders on the defense, that's the most talent that he's ever seen on the defensive side of the ball. And his brain defensively, even this year, where they won 4 games, he's holding people to 6 points. He's holding people to 8 points with his defense, and he's a part of it. It's like, could you fathom him as a Green Bay Packers coach with this team the way it's set up? It's like he literally bruised the tip whenever Lombo brought it up, because Ty was like, I'm sitting here thinking about this to myself, but I don't want to bring it up because he doesn't want to look like a LaFleur hater, doesn't want to look like a Packers negative Nance, doesn't want to do any of that. But like, I think as soon as I thought of it, I'm like, Green Bay would be a perfect place with this team for Bill Belichick. Now, Gute's GM, right? So, Bill, Gute, how does that? And Gute's done a fantastic job.
Yes, he has.
Listen, fantastic job. This is not, at one point, I didn't know. I apologize.
None of us did.
Now I am at a point, though, where it's like Gute has done a good job. How does it? Could you just think about Bill coaching, though, with that Packers team? That would be a perfect setup for him. I assume LaFleur is thinking, it is a perfect setup. I built this thing, but like that is a real, and there's numerous teams that are doing that right now, AJ.
Yeah, but the Packers, they're kind of unique because they're so young. Like their O-line is so young. The young receivers that Jordan Love has kind of introduced us to, I think, throughout how his play this year. Jordan Love is obviously the guy moving forward, and you mentioned all the defensive guys that they have, all the first-rounders. Yeah, but I mean, it would be really weird for that to happen, for them to lose, and here we go. Bill Belichick comes in there to Green Bay, but couldn't LaFleur, I mean, if you're LaFleur, if you're any coach in the NFL, really, couldn't you think, all right, hey, it's Bill Belichick. Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm frustrated, but I kind of get it. I can understand what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know if LaFleur feels that way. Just like Eberflus, his name's getting thrown. He's like, wait a minute. But Ty, whenever Lombo said it, you literally made an audible, whoa, like a Mayo. Whoa. Like you actually did that. Not because you hate LaFleur.
No, because and let's just get this, like the Packers aren't going to do this. Like if they lose on Sunday, there's absolutely no way they're going to hire LaFleur because of what he's done with Jordan Love and like kind of his progression. But I think it also goes back to, and this isn't necessarily a knock on him, but like he is an incredible play caller. But you've looked at all the different defenses that they've gone through during his time. Like you would wonder if you bring in a guy like Bill or Harbaugh, where it's like they could, maybe they're not calling defensive plays, but like their toughness and their culture could potentially change the defense overnight. It's like they have shown that they can do that before. I think LaFleur is incredible on offense. Like this year, obviously has shown that. But I just don't know if he is the kind of guy who is going to be like. Is it as simple as, hey, you fire Joe Barry and you hire a new defensive coordinator? Like I don't know if that's the case. I think a lot of that has to come from the head coach too.
Yeah, and Harbaugh, the way he was speaking about Harbaugh, I guess Lombo was part of hiring Harbaugh for his first job.
I heard that story of falling asleep and having, 5,000 pages of M?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I believe it. Makes sense to me. I see it.
Scrolling up. Imagine the realization. You get 75 pages up. Damn. Still going. Yeah. Then you go up to the Microsoft Word. How many characters are in this? 5,000 characters. All M. Harbaugh just doing it. Never, probably not showering afterwards.
Nope.
We're just going right. What was
cleats on? He probably had his cleats on too. Why that as it happened? But I would just like to see Jim Harbaugh work a computer. That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. And I assume he doesn't do much of that anymore. He's got somebody to do that as he walks around. I'd assume telling them what to type. The Harbaugh, Vrabes, Bill Belichick situation that's currently brewing. And Pete Carroll, I guess you can even add in there, even though he's an advisor for the Seahawks, he did not close the door on coaching. It's like, I think a lot of these playoffs have a lot of things, a lot of conversations that take place. Will anybody else get fired? And then what happens, let's say there is like a move of a chess piece, like Big Mike McCarthy, we all like as a coach. Matt LaFleur, we all like as a coach.
Someone else's.
Let's say they get moved out. Now all of a sudden, is there another? Yeah. Is there another? It's like, how long does this, and it's all because
how many assistants too get looked over that thought they were right in line for a head coaching gig as well? Because cool, the year that I'm a hot product, I got 5 Hall of Fame coaches all of a sudden on the market. Yeah,
Ben Johnson's like, should take that $30 million last year.
Yeah, Bobby Slowick or whatever for the Texans. But the other thing with the Cowboys is like this storyline has been this week and has crept in throughout the season. Like if there's anything to galvanize a team around, wouldn't it be Big Mike? Like, hey guys, they're talking about this guy being fired. We all love this guy. He's smashing watermelons before football games, but for some reason, the conversation around the Cowboys isn't about how good the team is or about how they're finally the 2 seed and have home field till potentially the NFC Championship. It's about how their coach might get fired. Like, wouldn't that be something that kind of unites the entire team almost?
If they love Big Mike, which I think everybody in the history that has played for Big Mike loves Big Mike, right? Like AJ?
Yeah, I mean, look at Al Harris, great corner for Green Bay. He's coaching with them now. He's got multiple guys he brought from Green Bay to coach with them, dudes he coached as well. So, yeah, I think that's a real thing, Con. They could absolutely kind of use it as a chip. Like, hey, man, we got to go take care of business. They're talking about our coach. Like, we've been pretty good these last couple of years.
Ryan Clark will not be able to join us today. He has an NFL Live meeting. That's
okay.
Damn.
I'm bummed about that.
Bummed out.
I'm bummed out about that. I was excited to get his take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This particular team heading into a very tough Buffalo Bills stadium against a Buffalo Bills team in a Buffalo Bills environment, how they'd handle it, plus the other games. We'll have to catch up with them next week sometime. But Jim Cantori will still be joining us at 1:40 Eastern time, which I can't wait for. Go ahead, Tone.
If the Cowboys do want Bill, okay? Say they do. And if Mike Tomlin is going to step away, whether he is or not, a lot of people are saying that is bullshit now. But if he does, Vrabel could always come home. Big Mike could always come home. These guys don't have to worry, okay? They could always come home at the end of the day. And that's just something to think about for both of them.
Well, why did Jay Glazer report that if that's not real?
I don't know, because Jay's tight.
Jay,
what did he say?
He said he's thinking about stepping away. A lot of people taking a break, Tomlin. And it's like, when Jay Glazer says it's a massive ordeal, you know why?
Because he usually knows.
Hashtag Jay knew.
Bingo.
But also Jay and Tomlin boozed. So hashtag Jay knew, Jay and Tomlin boozed. So if they're having a couple drinks together, they know each other pretty well, we would assume. I think he even stayed at like his house when he visited. It's like Jay Glazer pretty plugged with Mike Tomlin. So if he's saying, hey, Tomlin's thinking about this, we have to take it very seriously. Now, what if the Steelers go on a run, though? Maybe this maybe this has been a rejuvenating time for Mike Tomlin to get back on the horse.
Well, and maybe too, like we're thinking about it from hashtag Jay knew, which of course he always does. What if it's more so like, hey, Rapsheet and Schefter, they're just kind of eating this coaching news. Mike, is there any chance I can just say, hey, maybe Tomlin's not coming back next year, just to get my name in the mix, just to keep the relevancy of, the Fox Morning Show as well? Like, hey, Glazer's talking about Tomlin stepping down. We got to tune in every week because this guy knows everything.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to say anything about people tuning in every day for things that are happening right now.
Sure.
Why not?
I'm about sick of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get it.
It's been a long week.
It's still this. We're still in this week.
Yes.
Crazy.
It's still this week.
This is Friday of this week. That's amazing.
National
You
champion.
know what I was thinking?
Yep.
We were at the national championship Monday.
This week.
Yeah.
Monday.
Wow.
This week,
That does
wow.
not feel like that was Monday.
Yeah, we were in a lobby.
That's right.
Ty was cornering Pete Thamel in a lobby.
Yeah.
Had to.
Bruce was sternum bumping Pete Thamel in a lobby.
313.
Just like 3-4 days ago.
Oh my gosh.
A lot has happened.
Yeah, a lot.
And I feel good with where we got to.
Absolutely.
I feel good with where we landed this plane on Friday.
We landed it, and guess what? Super Wild Card Weekend comes in, just washes it all away, and the next week is anew.
Boom.
And who's the last?
And I'm sure nothing will happen going forward.
Yeah, of course not.
Who's the last guest of this week, too? Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Jim Cantori.
Good for us.
Come on.
Good for us.
Hell yeah.
And the amount of news.
We've been trying to
Saban,
land
Darryl,
him for a while.
Belichick from Vrabel from Tuesday to Thursday.
Yeah, that's been the news.
Yeah, for sure.
That has certainly been a lot of the news.
What if Cantori throws out some nukes? He just starts diving into all different areas that we talk about.
So this is the show, right? That I'm allowed to.
I can say whatever.
I guess.
Cantori!
Son of a bitch.
What if he starts talking about the weather? Oh, I did not do enough research to check him. But I will get my skates on. What about the greenhouse effect? That's what
I don't know, Jim.
You know, I'll do the whole thing. I promise. I'm a journalist. Hey, shout out to Burke,
What?
Jimmy,
What?
Mike Foss.
What?
Now, Mike Foss took it.
He did.
Yeah, Fist got hit.
He did.
How's Foss doing?
Fist got
Foss
hit
all right?
this week.
Is Foss doing okay?
Foss is okay, I think Foss.
He's a good dude. Good
Yeah,
guy.
I mean,
We all love Mike
We
Foss,
do.
Oh, yeah.
which is why, as it's happening,
Love you, Pasho.
His shins were ready.
yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, if he's not over it yet, then we're at the point where it's, hey, boo-hoo, grow up, Mike. That's what I would say to him.
Well, and that's your relationship with him, which goes to show how much we like Foss.
Bingo. Yeah, good point.
Which
Yeah.
is how we should kind of lay that out. I got some questions from Hembo that I have not read that he has sent over about Super Wild Card Weekend. Some thought provoking.
Okay. I like
So
that.
we'll call them interesting stats from Hembo, but they were in a note thing that got sent over to me that I thought there were going to be stats here, but it's just a bunch of questions for us to potentially
nice.
hypothesize around.
Hembo.
Like a riddle or something?
Could be.
No, it's football stuff. It's like
Football
about
riddle.
the game.
Riddles.
No, it's not like how many lemons grow on a lemon tree.
15.
All of them. You're
Damn
wrong.
it.
Yeah, it's not that. Okay, it is not one of those. It's about the games from Super Wild Card Weekend, and we appreciate Hembo, by the way, that little handsome bastard right there.
Yeah, he got yammed on this morning. Felt bad about it.
Oh, somebody got a question right?
Graz just dunked on his ass.
Maz gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought maybe there's going to be a that boy
Bad.
Shout out to Harry Douglas. We owe Harry and Cole $10,000 each
Oh, that's right.
because they were pulling for Washington during that mega cast.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Colt and Acho were pulling for Texas.
Did Harry bring that up on Monday?
So all the people that were who?
Did Harry bring that up on Monday?
No, I brought it up to him actually. I was like, hey, we owe you $10,000. So all the people that were mad at like Colt McCoy, hey, you're pulling for Texas, and like Acho, both Texas people, and then Cole and Harry potentially going the other way. What are you doing? It's like, well, we're actually putting $10,000 behind it for them to get a little juice, you know, feel a little energy. They certainly did that. Here we go. From Hembo. Browns Texans questions here. Once again, I've not read these.
Sure.
Okay, so I do not know what they are. Which quarterback are we more confident in? The presumptive offensive rookie of the year or the 38-year-old with 7 career road playoff wins?
I don't like this.
It's a good question, though. Good job, Hembo.
That's one of those lower.
I don't like this.
That's a first take, get up, topic bar right there. All right, Con Man, answer the question.
All right, well, if I forgot, these are terrible questions from Hembo, not interesting stats. I'm going to go with
well, we put the interesting stats up thing because we didn't know we were getting interesting questions.
Right.
Yeah, well, we're not. But
you don't know what scroller. This one's a scroller, pal.
Oh, for one, you're right. He can still come back. I'm going to go with Case Keenum. I think Case Keenum being behind C.J. Stroud projects C.J. Stroud above Joe Flacco.
Okay, see, that's why we can't do this.
Give me Stroud. Give me Stroud.
Why not? Why? Because he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
I don't like that. And he just basically played a playoff game, so they are coming
in the Loud House.
in the Loud House, and now they're down in the Stroud House. And I don't
He's
like
got two of them
down there.
Yeah,
He's got two Stroud houses.
No, there's only
two.
one Stroud
This
house.
Browns-
He's got two.
Browns-
No, there is only one Stroud house, and that is in Houston.
And
this is the Lod house here in Indianapolis. The Stroud house is in Houston.
Is it still Lod if the Stroud comes to Todd and beats him?
It's the loudest. Anyways, people calling Lucas Oil Stadium Stroud house need to relax. We're building a brand here. First time. Okay, it's the first year.
It's just such a layup.
What did the
for
Browns have in
Stroud.
their favor? A lot of momentum. And then, they rested a lot of guys, which I'm sure was the right decision, and they lost by 40 to the Bengals. And I just don't like that. I like the team that's coming off of a playoff game versus a team that, was riding this high. And are they anymore?
Oh, okay, I'll ask you this question then, AJ. Feels like you're the perfect one to ask this. How many quarterbacks would you take right now before C.J. Stroud? When also accounting for his rookie contract. That's a whole nother game that D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio down there get to play. Even if they lose this game at home in the playoffs to the Cleveland Browns, next 4 years for the Texans bode very well for them, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, I mean, how many guys are out there on the rookie contracts that have – is there anyone in his situation? I mean –
Jaden Daniels next year potentially.
Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah, I wasn't going to say the F-bomb there, but I wanted to. Jaden Daniels. Duh.
That's who Con Man thinks is inevitably going to be the quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Praying for him. I really hope so. Would you throw Trevor Lawrence in there?
Well, see, what happened at the end of the year?
Just got he got hurt every single game. For
Started
the
with the concussion, right?
Concussion, yep.
And then the next game, he was off through 3 picks.
Yep.
Then there was an ankle.
Then there was a shoulder.
The guy's too tough for his own good.
You got banged
Exactly. Hasn't missed. It was the first year he's missed a game.
Last question for this game. AJ, this one goes to you as well. What plan must Houston employ to ensure Myles Garrett does not wreck this game? I want to let you know.
Come on.
Hembo, I got to watch the Myles Garrett experience in person. If he wants to take over a game, he will. But I assume the game plan is we got double, triple, chipper this guy like everybody is trying to do to Myles Garrett, AJ.
Yeah, you will, but there was a stretch towards the end of the season, I know, where he had, 5 or 6 games with 1 sack or something, but he was still super impactful. That's the thing. Use 3, 4 guys, use whatever it takes. It's going to open things up for everybody else and help the rest of the defense. So even if his stats aren't crazy, Myles can absolutely still take it over.
Sorry, good.
They also have Laramie Tunsil, so they need to help him if he's on the right side. But you would hope Laramie Tunsil, one of the highest paid left tackles.
Laramie did an interview. Yeah. I saw some clips coming out of Laramie. Hilarious.
He's awesome.
Laramie is phenomenal.
Was his guy in there?
What's his name?
Saint.
St. Omni?
St. Omni. There it is.
St. Omni. The memo to everybody: do not negotiate with a human named St. Omni. He is not NFLPA approved agent. Now we got a lot of horrendous agents that have been approved by the NFLPA, but St. Omni, the man that's making bigger deals than anybody else, not allowed.
No way.
Don't interview. And then we talked to Laramie Tunsil, who allegedly got the deal done from St. Omni, and some bastard walks through the back on the phone. Kind of this guy's just like, dude, that's it. That's St. Omni. Laramie Tunsil, friend of the program. Yeah. C.J. Stroud, friend of the program.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I love the Houston Texans until they play the Colts in the Lod house.
Yeah. Joe Flacco, also friend of the program.
Yeah, we love it. Hey, once he gets down on that grass.
Oh, my God. Nothing better than the grass out there. Flacco also did say reportedly that he told his teammates, hey, guess what? Over these next 5 weeks, we're going to do something very special that we're all going to remember forever. So Flacco's already in Vegas in his mind, which...
Well, here's another question then from Hembo here about that situation.
Okay.
What does Cleveland's success without Deshaun Watson tell us about the future of Deshaun Watson? It's like, Hembo, I don't know what you're leading to here, but if Joey Flacco wins a Super Bowl with the Cleveland Browns, or even takes him to AFC Championship, even makes it to the divisional round. Let's say he wins a playoff game for the Cleveland Browns, would only be the second one in forever or whatever. What do they do there, AJ? What do they? You move on.
The contract has no outs. The Deshaun contract has no outs, correct? Like it's the most player-friendly deal there is.
David Mulligetta, absolute dog.
And the money goes to $64 million a year for the next 3 years. This is where the cap actually starts to hurt him.
So you would assume it'd be impossible to trade. You would assume.
No, yeah. Who's going to trade for that? Yeah, I mean, Deshaun has to be the guy.
Browns fans are going to be like, of course.
Yep.
Come on.
Of course, we found the guy. Wins a playoff game. Everybody loves him. The whole city loves him. Doesn't care about the cold. Throws the deep ball. He's very consistent. He causes no problems ever.
Family
He
man.
feels like a 10-year-old, he says, whenever he's playing for the Browns. I love just being a Cleveland Brown. This is the guy. Can't play him. How come? Well, we gave $240 million to another. The most ever given to a quarterback at the same exact position. Phenomenal conversation piece for the offseason.
Oh, yes.
Depending upon how this goes. But I'm also pulling for C.J. Stroud in the AFC South. Even though I like Joey Flack, I'm pulling for, is Arrowhead Stadium this weekend at -20 the biggest home field advantage currently in the playoffs?
Isn't it Dallas because they're so unbelievable at home? But I guess, the cold. Miami is, what are they, got 111 or something like that under 40?
For their last 10.
Oh, for the last 10?
Oh, I didn't know you guys were over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, over.
What's the deal? Because you put air conditioning on the practice facility. That ain't going to get you to -20.
No, we're sleeping with fans on this week, though. It should be fine.
And what you're saying is, because there was a stat here that Hembo also sent me, that lest we forget that Miami went up to Buffalo in the playoffs last year in a game that kicked off at 27 degrees and scored 31 points with Skylar Thompson playing quarterback. Now, I don't know hand sizes between Skylar Thompson and Tua. I think that is a huge part of this entire thing. Like,
what's the wind like, though? The wind is the biggest thing when it comes to cold. Like, is it going to be crazy gusty and everything?
Wind chill being that much?
Yeah, that's brutal. That's a whole different world. Like, cold is one thing. Cold is fine. You can handle it. But when it's super windy and you can barely you feel like, all right, let's just try to complete little 6-7 yarders. Like, that's a different game there.
And you guys can run the rock, though, right? That's what you're kind of banking on here, Gumps? That's kind of the whole idea for the Dolphins?
Yeah, we need Mostert. The Mostert is likely to play. I saw Waddle running routes. It did not look too great, but they're saying Mostert good to go.
What percentage of Travis Kelce must Travis Kelce be?
Dude,
83.
I don't know what you want me to do here.
110 for sure.
You know,
How am I
what
not
these are?
supposed to say?
He throws these out every morning and get up, and these are what they didn't use today.
No, they might have used it.
This is the
not this
scrap
morning.
heap.
Yeah.
This is the scrap heap.
These are good questions.
Yeah,
What are you talking about? Scrap heap?
They didn't use them this morning. This
83%.
morning was who has more reason to have credit for the Patriots' success, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
Well, yesterday I did see on one of the shows, who's the better coach, huh? Saban or Belichick?
Exactly.
Jesus, can we not one day just give them both?
God! It drives me insane, man. It grinds my gears, brother. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. It's not a joke.
We did wonder why we couldn't just give them one day. You know, both of those guys could just give them one day to be like, but when you're around water cooler,
what are you going to talk about?
You need to have that.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
it's not as if we have the 7 most important games of the 6 of the entire NFL season to talk about. No. Let's talk about who deserves more credit, so we can take credit from one of the two.
I got a stupid idea.
Okay.
Because the Chiefs wide receivers haven't been incredible this year, with all due respect to Rasheed Rice, who's been a great rookie. Will Jalen Ramsey, can he follow Travis, even though, he's...
I think that's probably where they would want him, right? Vic Fangio would probably. Jalen's like the guy to cover Travis Kelce.
When X is out, Jalen does travel with the number one of the other team.
They got to do the two on the one, double the one, and put Jalen on Rasheed Rice,
which is the patented Patriot Belichick move from way back. But it's like Travis Kelce, whatever you want to say, maybe it hasn't been working. It's playoffs.
Exactly.
And all eyes are on Peacock only.
That's right.
I heard that's becoming quite a conversation. Have you heard about this? I just learned of this over the last 24 hours.
So it's exclusively on Peacock. So people are pissed, saying, "Oh, I gotta get Peacock to watch a playoff game." Can you get a free 30-day trial or whatever?
I don't.
I think it's like more so a free 2 hours, not a free trial. You get like a 2-hour period where you can watch anything, and then
it sounds like that is a voice that doesn't know the truth.
That's what happened to me last year when they did this last year as well.
What a move. Allegedly, they picked the Chiefs game, so they could get all the Swifties on Peacock.
Smart.
Which is obviously a good play. And anytime you have these two powerhouses coming together, so many superstars on the field in this game, only to be on Peacock, there is certainly going to be a part of our society that's not going to be thrilled about it. I just want to turn on TV and watch a game.
Amen.
Why do I got to? And the NBC executives were like,
kind of smart. Kind of a smart move.
Great. Very smart move to get people onto Peacock, I think, personally. Yeah. But there's going to be people that aren't thrilled about it. And I assume the NFL, The up price, I assume, because you're taking away potential viewership on the biggest game.
Yeah.
That's
prime time.
Because the NFL likes projecting their ratings of like how many and whatever. This is certainly cutting into that, so it won't be able to be added into it. But it's a great move for Peacock, who's been a great partner, I guess, with the NFL.
And I think Peacock paid $110 million just for this game. So it's like, can they maybe offset that with like, hey, we can't post that 28 million people watch this, but they paid us $110 million for one game. But it's fake outrage. It's like Peacock's $5. How much are you going to spend on DoorDash
$5.99
to watch the game? You know what I mean? It's like you're going to spend.
The extra steps, though, don't you think, Todd?
It's not,
the extra
though. It's not like anyone who says
It's-
that, like, okay, then, if you're 80 years old and you're watching the game with something, like, call your son or your daughter and have them set up Peacock for you. Like, it's just people bitching because they want to bitch.
You're being an ageist right now.
Yeah,
I'm not.
kind of.
I'm not, because guess what? Like, my mom doesn't know shit about this kind of stuff, but she'd figure it out. She can figure it out. Yeah, it might take her 30 minutes to figure it out. She might miss the first quarter, which,
She's not going to be thrilled.
She's not going to be thrilled.
But
then,
guess what?
And then, boom, she turns it on, and they're talking about, how cold it is, and Tua's out there, with like a little thing covering up all you can see his eyes, and she's going to be like, thank God this is on Peacock.
I'm pretty sure Collinsworth said that exact same thing on Sunday night. He said, find someone young, they'll download it for you, and then you got the game on.
Boom.
Or,
Well, they're not going
$110 million for this game.
Crazy.
For one game.
I thought it'd be more.
The NFL does whatever the NFL wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the Pac-12.
May they rest in peace.
They couldn't get a deal done, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's why this whole thing happened. Now, a network tore up a TV contract.
Correct.
That is yet to be.
Is that ESPN?
No. It was not ESPN.
It wasn't, no.
But nonetheless, they couldn't get a deal done anywhere. And then the NFL just walks in and goes, you want one game in a weekend in which we have 6 of them with 4 different broadcast partners? $110 million will do.
Done.
Like, that's just one game for this weekend for the NFL. When you're talking about being just a cash cow, having the world buy the entire cojones.
Yeah.
The NFL has that.
Oh, yeah.
And good for them. Congratulations. Not easy to do that. That Peacock thing's going to get loud. The thing I hate about Thursday nights, and obviously we'll go and watch Prime. We got a lot of friends that are part of that whole program. So, going to watch it, love NFL. We're not the people that are going to be pissed off about it. We have relatively good internet here where we live. There's people that are pissed because they have bad internet, whatever. That's going to affect Peacock for sure this weekend. But, commercial breaks.
This is real.
Not being able to do anything during commercial breaks.
Right.
That grinds my gears, brother.
Yeah, I can understand that because it's maddening, especially during the Prime. And you bringing up Prime, why didn't Bezos say, 110?
Yeah,
we'll give you 200. Let's put that son of a bitch
I do wonder
on Prime.
why they didn't get a playoff game. I assume that's in the next one.
Herbie.
Rodgers just wait until you see the playoff games.
Herbie said it's after the national championship. I ain't working.
Oh, that makes sense.
Herb Street.
Yep.
Is the reason why Amazon doesn't have a playoff game. He does.
Kirk refused.
He does swing a big stick. Bezos went up to Al. Hey, Al, we're thinking about maybe getting a playoff game. Cost us $200 million. How do you feel about it? I was like, we'd love to do it, obviously, if Kirk will do it. And Kirk's like, season's over, bro.
Is it because they got the Black Friday game? You think they just gave them that and
They
said,
did pay it.
Maybe, but that's vastly different than a playoff game, especially during Super Wildcard Weekend. Thanksgiving weekend, certainly a regular season, that's good celebration. But a playoff game is here we go.
Cream of the crop.
The one on at a time, too, is a whole nother
game changer.
Do we know what Fox is paying for their playoff package?
I wonder if it's all part of the bundle whenever they sign a 10-year deal or whatever it is. But anyways, joining us now is a man who's going to be able to give us information that we need.
Yes.
This particular guy and his producer actually sent us graphics to use.
Yep.
To help explain what this man is going to break down for us. Now, we are massive NFL fans, and we do know it's going to be cold in a couple different places. But how cold? What should we expect? Well, let's go to the greatest weatherman that isn't named Joe DiNardo in the history of humans. 37 years at the Weather Channel. This man has eaten every single hurricane that has hit land here in the United States of America. Every tornado's wind has felt Cantori's skin. He's in Chicago now covering a thunder snow. Jim Cantori.
Yeah!
What an introduction, dude. What an introduction. Oh, my goodness. That was incredible.
Hey, we watched.
Look at this. I haven't shaved in a week. I've been out in the winter weather for a week now. Isn't that nuts?
Well, that's the thing. You're a method actor out there. You know that the snow is probably what you're going to be battling here for the next few weeks. So you grow up that fur, you grow up that beard. We watched you this morning on CBS, and the first thing you said
Did you see that?
Yeah. The first thing you said,
God.
Jim, you said it is hammering snow right now. We're like, love this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only human that's going to talk like that. Now, the weather's bad in a lot of places. This weekend for us as sports gamblers, it's a big deal. Let's start in Kansas City. They're talking about this being a historically cold game in the history of the NFL. How sure are we that it's going to be freezing? Do we know this is going to be the case? And what is your kind of read on it?
It's definitely going to be freezing. And I'm not talking about 32 or below. I'm talking about 0 Fahrenheit or below. Okay. So, I mean, when you first of all, when you think about cold games, guys, go back to the Ice Bowl, right? In 67, Packers, Cowboys. And this wasn't on these nice, cushy fields. This was on solid frickin' ground. All right. There was no grooming. There was no heaters on the side. I mean, this was solid cold. Big time. So this, it's almost unfair. I mean, that was 13 below with a wind chill of 36 below. When Miami comes to Kansas City, granted, the Dolphins aren't used to this stuff, but you're talking about below 0 sometime around kickoff and certainly into the second, third, and fourth quarters. So that's definitely the coldest game we got.
So for me, I got the chance to play in Kansas City. I think it was -7 wind chill or something like that with how it was. Field was frozen completely through. Now you talk about, the modern grooming and it's a playoff game. You'd assume that wouldn't be the case. How about the wind? When I see wind chill being that different, we're talking high wind. Is that why it's so much? How do we calculate the wind chill?
Let me ask you something. What did you have underneath, as a base layer? Yeah, I mean, you even had a base layer, though. Back then, it was just thermals. It was cotton. Now you got polypropylene and everything. I mean, I'm warm out there with this one layer. So it doesn't take a lot to keep us warm.
Yeah, you're right. Modern technology is certainly great,
Huge.
and we appreciate that, especially with the heaters on the benches. But whenever we see the temperature is -5 and then wind chill is -25, I don't think I fully understand how anybody calculates that. But does that just tell me it's going to be windy as shit there, Jim, or what? How's the wind going to play this?
You factor in the wind. You factor in the fact that when the wind hits you, it's actually evaporating moisture, pulling moisture off your body, thus cooling it. Any exposed skin. They're talking about exposed skin, where you can freeze. And typically at -25, you're going to have a wind chill warning. So we're going to have wind chill warnings over probably half the states in the lower 48 with this air mass. So that's a huge number of states, certainly, where we could be dangerous for being outside for a short period of time. But, you got the heaters. I mean, these guys are going to do what they got to do. I mean, if you remember, what was it? The Giants went to Green Bay back a few years ago. That was a cold game. That was a really cold game. Tough loss being a Packers fan and all, but hey, I'm over it by now. It took a few years, I won't lie. But listen, it's the great equalizer, right, guys? At the end of the day, the weather's the great equalizer.
Everybody has to deal with it, I guess.
You're right, exactly. Everybody's got to play through it.
It takes away moisture, which then, I've never heard that before.
Never.
Obviously, we need to talk a little bit more. Go ahead, AJ.
Okay, so here's the deal. Go down to Kansas City, take off your shirt, like some of the fans will, likely in the stands, and see how that feels. No drinking. You just got to do it sober. Let's see how that feels.
Well, it's going to be terrible, Jim. I'm not going to do it. I'm an adult.
Exactly.
Jim,
drinking.
Or at least take your shirt and soak it in water first, then go outside.
Okay, Jim, we can't have you. Some more people.
Understand it.
Go ahead,
Understand it.
Yeah, science. It's a science experiment, obviously. Go ahead, AJ.
Science.
Jim, what's going on in Buffalo when you look at the weather situation?
Buffalo looks interesting, too, because we've actually got cold air coming over the lakes. So now you could be talking about playing in the snow, which is another great equalizing aspect of football, certainly when you got to play in the snow. The Bills, certainly no stranger to playing there. The Steelers, I mean, climate-wise, there's not a big difference. But when you're playing in the snow, you're trying to hold the ball, kick the ball, it gets a little sloppy out there. Probably the best player in the snow ever, probably Brady.
Yeah, I think everybody was saying
that.
Yeah. A lot of snow games, and maybe Adam Vinatieri.
But huge games, right? Yeah. But huge games. When games are on the line, this is it. We either sink or swim with this game. So, again, this is going to have to be one of these things where the Bills have been fighting it all year, and they're going to have to fight it again this time with the weather.
I think Aaron Rodgers would also say, hey, in the cold, I've been okay. And that's because his hands are massive. Josh Allen, historically huge hands as well, so it feels like he's a nice fit. Whenever I was a rookie, I played in Buffalo last game of the season. I think like 10 inches fell during the game. They had to plow the entire thing. Why is Buffalo get such heavy snow versus other places? And at 20 to 20,
because of the lake. Because of the lake, with the way that the wind trajectory comes in over the lake. So it can come in. They may not get the heaviest snow out of the whole event, but they'll get enough so it'll coat the field and things like that, because temperatures will be dropping into the teens, which is no picnic either. So that's another thing. Remember I was telling you, when you're wet and the winds are gusting 20, 25 miles an hour, that makes it tough. So you're going to have to keep the hands warm. Obviously, they're going to have to get as warm as they can on the sidelines.
Why does a lake generate wind?
Well, the lake, there's nothing to stop it. So it just comes right across the lake. That's a prevailing wind flow. And what happens is the lake is warm. The lake's, 35, 40 degrees right now because it's unfrozen. It'll be frozen after this weekend, but it won't be frozen until then. So it's going to allow the moisture from the lake to come up into the atmosphere and the lower layers of the atmosphere because it's so doggone cold. Clouds will form. And then guess who's sitting at the end of all that? Buffalo. So Buffalo gets crushed with heavy snow. And my producer, Peterak, and I, we've been in Buffalo during a snowstorm, and it's not pretty.
Peterak is a tough name.
Yeah.
Wow. Seriously. But seriously, we were driving to our live slot location, and Steve, all of a sudden, he's like, I don't know where the road is. I'm like, dude, slow down. Just slow, because you get blinded because the snow is coming at you and it's so heavy. So it's really crazy when it starts snowing off the lake. Really crazy. And this is the kind of snow we're going to get somewhere near Buffalo. Will it be right over the field? I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about the boys have questions for you, Jim, and we can't thank you enough for joining us. Obviously, we're focusing on Kansas City and Buffalo. You were in Chicago. You said the lower 48 is going to have wind chill warnings. We were in the middle of just winter kicking everybody's ass right now and launching officially?
Yeah, we haven't had much of a winter. I mean, we've had these storms. They've been, ass kickers. But at the end of the day, guys, we really haven't had a super cold air mass come in behind a low pressure system. This time it will. All right. And this time we set the stage, believe it or not, for bringing maybe even some snow in Dallas on Monday. Wouldn't be surprised to me.
Whoa.
Memphis, Little Rock, and maybe the I-95 corridor, which hasn't had much snow at all. It's been rain and flooding. They may even have some as we get into, let's say, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we could finally break the snow drought up there. Wow. So yeah, it's cranking, man. It's hyperactive right now.
It's Cantori season. Tone Diggs, your biggest fan, has
That's
a question.
Pretty much right on the money.
Yeah, Jim, huge fan. I wanted, because they're talking about in Buffalo like from 3 to 18 inches, and they're talking about it's where the snow bands land. How do the snow bands work in up in Buffalo?
Well, I mean, they said that you have air that converges over the lake, right? You got the prevailing wind flow, which is going to come out of the west. All right. And it's going to meet the southwest wind right there over the lake. So this band will develop, this east-west band. It'll look just like this big, long streamer. And you'll see it on radar. Sometimes, by the way, you get thunder and lightning out of those. It's pretty wild. Which only means enhanced snowfall. It only means, 2, 3, 4 inches an hour type snowfall rates. And this is the first time we've had that kind of cold air over these Great Lakes. So it is going to be nuts. Anybody downwind of the lake that's set up in these favorable band areas, like Buffalo, is going to do really well.
Okay.
It's
going to be great TV, obviously. Yeah. Another player, LaShawn McCoy, has been mentioned as one of the best snow players of all time because of what he was able to do. He seemingly never lost grip. AJ, you just got to keep your feet under you, right? Isn't that what everybody says, be an athlete?
Yeah. Try to keep all your cleats in the ground. Yeah, you're trying to, it's tough.
That's what Jim Cantori does every single storm. Speaking of, Connor has a question for you about you.
That's right.
Yeah, Jim, you just mentioned one storm where you guys were driving and you couldn't see, and, who knows what would happen in that situation. And you've been doing this for 30-plus years, almost 4 decades at this point. Has it ever crossed your mind, like, I'm going to die in one of these storms? Or are you just one of those guys where you'll know when you meet your match when it comes to storms and you'll say, hey, I'm going to hang up the thermal, I'm going to hang up the, rain jacket. I'm going to call it quits on this Hall of Fame career that you've had?
Ian was probably the one that really kicked my butt pretty hard because I was standing out in the middle of the street. Literally, I don't know how I didn't blow over. There was one gust that came along. I don't know how I didn't go airborne. But my producer gets in my ear. You guys know, you got IFBs, earpieces. They talk to you. And she's like, get out of there. Get out of there right now. Get inside. So we decided to do the rest of the broadcast from the garage. But sometimes
Jim! About my Cantori.
You're so pumped up to do your job and get out there and play hard. You don't really think, gosh, I could actually get hit by a damn piece of street sign. I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. And that's, you're just into the game. You're into the moment. And you kind of ignore the weather.
How do you feel about the people that say, you're telling us we need to stay inside, you can't go outside, and then literally you're yelling at us from outside? Like, is it because you just know what's coming more than anybody else? You know how to deal with it? Why do you think that is the case?
Right. I mean, listen, when we're out there, I mean, it's not a panacea. It doesn't mean I'm not going to get hit by something. I'm knocking on plastic wood right
yes,
now.
are we?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
No,
but I mean, the deal is I'm like, look, if I'm going to be one of these guys that says, listen, you have to leave. I need you to leave because this is a dangerous storm and storm surge is coming in. Hopefully I'm going to be out of way enough of the storm surge, or I'm going to be high enough where I can show you what's happening, where you guys can watch it in the safety of wherever you've evacuated to. That's really how I look at it. I want to be, if I'm the guy who asked you to leave, I want you to be seeing why I asked you to leave.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
So I'm taking you there.
Here's Hurricane Ian and Cantori battling. Obviously holding the hat on, battling against some winds. And then he has a producer in the ear say, a stop sign might just come slice your head off on live TV.
Out of there.
We would like that to not happen. I want to let you know.
It's really interesting because all of a sudden, they're monitoring the social media.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right there. That I don't know how I didn't go airborne right there. If that pole was not there, that street sign.
Look at you, though. 10 toes down, getting full cleats on the ground.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about for this weekend, for these games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's slippery because you become you're weightless. And then just on the other side of that sign was the building. So all I had to do was get on that other side, and I could get out of the wind, which is where my cameraman was, where my producer Steve was. That's where we had safety for my crew. But I want to show you what it's like to be out there in it. And sometimes you just have to be told when to get out of the storm. But nobody's going to tell everybody to get off the field. You got to play the damn game for 4 quarters.
Hell yeah! If not you, then who, Jim? If not you, then who? Ty has a question for you about this storm.
So, Jim, you're saying we're in the throes of this thing right now, and I'm from Iowa. I see a lot of people sending me they've got over a foot of snow, expecting 6 to 8 more inches today. And then you mentioned Dallas and some of these other places next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Is this the type of thing where we're going to be in this for a couple weeks, and is this type of weather going to potentially affect games next weekend as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in this certainly through next weekend. I mean, you can't just
Baltimore next weekend, Jim. Baltimore definitely next weekend.
Yeah, so they're in. They're in as well. It's going to be the coldest games of the season. I mean, let's face it, guys. We had a very mundane October. We had a record warm January. We had a record warm December. And now all of a sudden, this is really our first massive chunk of Arctic air that we're going to have to deal with. It's coming down. It's hard to erode these things, especially when you lay down a snowpack, which we're doing. So it's kind of like having a refrigerator, right, to keep the air mass in there. And then all you need is another reinforcing shot. So I don't know if it's going to be as cold, certainly, below zero. But let's face it, it's no picnic playing in the teens. It's no picnic playing in the 20s, especially if you have a wind howling at you at about 25 miles an hour. It's that infamous wind chill factor that really gets you. That's what you feel in your body.
Hell yeah. That's who everybody will be battling in Kansas City and Buffalo, and Cantor will be battling every single day.
Amen.
You and Mother Nature have really been doing a dance together here for almost 4 decades, and we appreciate the hell out of your salsa, pal.
Thanks, brother. Pat, we get at each other. We cuss a little bit at each other, but in the end, we have a mutual respect for each other. That's the way it should be.
I think so, too. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Cantor.
Yeah, Jim.
Jim, you got to worry about Mother Nature. And he's like, she's got to worry about me, too.
I'll be there. I'm going to show up. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that. Jim Cantori just joined the show.
Legend.
That feels pretty good.
Yeah, pumped about it.
Now, this guy right here, obviously, if he was still with us.
Does he know of DiNardo's greatness?
Call him back. Call him back.
That's why he got into the game.
I didn't see him salute or anything when you talked about him.
He laughed during the intro. I know that.
So he knows DiNardo. He's probably not in his Zoom anymore. He probably left. Son of a.
He knows.
That would have been a nice little tribute to DiNardo.
Yeah.
Everyone
knows. Yeah, he knows Joe. Joe created the Doppler, so.
Yeah. So.
Did he?
Yeah.
Huh? We think?
Yeah. Joe the Doppler DiNardo.
That's what we were told before we had internet on a phone. You know what I mean? Whenever we were growing up.
I believe it.
Whenever somebody said something confidently, That was gospel forever, especially if it was somebody older than you. Kids these days have no idea about that. Yeah. Hey, why does this happen? And then somebody older than you says it with like conviction. It's like, oh, that's the answer. And you just lock it in. Maybe shape your life.
Those were good days.
Basically.
Might shape your life. You know how they say if you ain't first, you're last, kind of shaped Ricky Bobby's life? There's numerous times before there was internet on phones where answers were given to people that were completely wrong and shaped lives forever. That's how I know Donardo built the Doppler.
That's right.
And I would say Twitter's kind of still similar to that thinking, though, after what we went through this week.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
You're right. Yeah. That card.
Twitter's 1990.
Diggs. I see you, Diggs, in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He had that in the drafts before the show started.
That cowboy hat don't run.
Turns out since you're on the show, you know who's coming on the show and you know stuff about the show.
No, that's not what I heard. You and Nick have no idea. Nobody knows. These people know more, of course.
Always do.
Still people reporting. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell some of them, like, you have no idea how stupid you look right now. But inevitably, everybody will find out. We'll see you on Monday. Cheers. That was good out.
Let's go.
Nice.
That was good out. This week's been a long one. Yep. Okay, we got to make our picks on the other side. A shout out to Jim Cantor.
Yeah.
E.
Legend.
Is he ever in just like a nice setting? Like no win,
No.
he's not getting beat up?
No.
He'd probably be bored.
I like that he stays at some pretty dingy hotel it appeared as well.
Oh, yeah.
His producer told me he got in it. They were doing a hit at like 3:30 in the morning, so he took a 2-hour nap before he came on our show.
Got 2 double beds, him, the producer, the cameraman.
Yep.
We're just bouncing around looking for weather. Same thing we've been doing for 37 years.
I think he vacations in Halifax.
Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
No, I think he's in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I heard Antarctica.
Up near Saskatoon. I think he has a timeshare up there.
Not in the summer, though.
Why was he telling people to go shirtless out there? I think that's pretty dangerous.
He wanted you to get your shirt wet and then put it on.
Yeah, go try it. See what happens.
People will
Jim,
die.
Jim, we don't want to try it.
What are you doing?
The whole wind chill thing is fascinating to me. How do you measure the absence of temperature that low is another thing. I don't know how that works.
Is it something with the mile per hour of wind with the temperature and it's some kind of equation? Boom, okay.
But just forget the wind chill thing. How do they measure the absence of temperature? Well, it's -9 today. Okay,
Yeah,
you know it's not -7. How do you go the other way? Like whenever it's present, I understand that you can measure it. But the absence of temperature, how do they measure that?
Good question.
When was the first thermometer ever made, too, is the other question.
Joe Donardo.
I think you're dealing with the barometer when you get that low.
That's what because you see, most things I see go zero this way.
Barometer's like pressure.
Yeah,
right?
it's pressure.
Yeah. Atmospheric pressure, yeah.
Which might be a
Yeah,
part
how
of the
does
wind
it-
chill.
Bingo.
Could be.
Huh.
Is the mercury?
If you've
Isn't
ever
that the
seen
thing?
Day After Tomorrow, it's
I think mercury's in the thermometer.
In the thermometer, yeah. So is that how they
Red stuff.
But how do you calibrate that to where it can do all that?
And to the other way.
Yeah, to go below.
Yeah.
we asked them to figure it out. At one point, smart people did figure that out.
I mean, we just...
They've been around for a while, I feel
We
like,
just assumed.
thermometers.
Yeah, but I'm talking about negative... How do you know it's -25? Like, it feels like... Yeah. It feels like... You could have told me -100.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It would have... You know what? Like, you can tell the difference between 65, 80.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah,
65, 75.
Yeah.
But negative... Kind of anything.
Yeah, at that point.
It all just feels...
Yeah, lower than -5. Like it might as well be -50.
Might as well be. So the wind chill being -25 to -24, it's like, how do we know? Well, let's see. The moisture wicking wind,
Exactly. Yep.
how much moisture is in the air, mixed with the wind speed, with the temperature, put it all together, miserable. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not playing football anymore. I am so happy I don't have to do that. I couldn't even imagine for guys that had to run their heads into people.
Ugh.
Cantori's saying, like, it's easy for him to stay warm now with technology. Yeah, maybe your body and your arms a little bit, but, man, your hands and feet when you're playing, that's just... It's almost impossible. Even no matter, I used to wear, when it was really cold, like the hybrid scuba/football gloves. They were just thick. I'm sure you guys have seen them. They helped, but still, like, and you put liners underneath them too, and it didn't matter. Like 5 minutes into that stuff, your fingers are gone.
And everybody says put the SEAL suit on. You can't. Not everybody can move.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the SEAL suit. Scuba divers aren't No. They don't need to get loose. They don't need to get open. They just need to be able to evade a shark or two, which is usually done with smooth movements. So, like Tom Brady, I think, used to wear a scuba suit.
Every time.
But he doesn't have to.
No.
There isn't a lot of body movement out of Tom Brady. If anybody gets close, he's actually just testing out that scuba suit going down. So it's how people handle it. Can't wait to watch. I'm sure there's going to be people with no long sleeves on.
Oh, yeah.
And let's make sure we all
Shirtless
remember.
warm-ups. We got shirtless warm-ups for sure going to happen.
Write those down.
Let's all remember they're tough, those guys. Right? Because that's what they're looking for.
I hope guys just troll people and go shirtless warm-ups for 30 minutes and then put on a hoodie underneath their jersey for the game.
One of those jackets from practice. One of those fur jackets from practice underneath. But let's remember the guys that go without sleeves, and let's make sure we tell them they're tough.
Dogs.
Because that's what they're looking for.
For sure.
So let's make sure we give them that. But the people that really figure it out, we need to applaud them as well. The parka poncho thing on the heated bench.
Smart.
The play.
A must.
But that only happens if you don't play a lot. So good luck to everybody that has to be on the field. All right, we'll make our picks on the other side. Also, country musician artist made his picks for us.
Oh, nice.
Not for us, for the internet, but we definitely ripped it and said, yeah, going to be a part of our picks.
Need that.
I think we can maybe take no, let's not take calls. This is not the week to do that.
No,
All right.
it's not.
Let's get to a break. Hour 3 will be on the other side as we make our picks and hopefully propel ourselves into the greatest weekend we've ever had in our entire life.
Hell yeah.
There's been magical weekends for people. You get married, you have a baby, all that type of stuff. Let's go ahead and put those to the side. Those are personal ones. But whenever it comes to experiencing something awesome, Super Wildcard Weekend has lived up to the hype over the last couple of years. One game on at a time. 3 days straight of games. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. Take 5.
Bye.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Undercover Dog. He's an undercover dog. He's an undercover dog for sure. My first undercover dog is Xavier McKinney. He had back-to-back interceptions on back-to-back plays to upset the Eagles this week. He had the highest PFF grade in Week 18 at 95.3. Check out this play right here. He go from the 37 to the 37. My second undercover dog is James Conner. He had over 200 all-purpose yards versus Seattle. Check out this little swifty move right here on this 29-yard touchdown. He had 7 touchdowns, 1,000-plus rushing yards, and missing 4 games. My third undercover dog is Christian Benford. 5th round pick from Villanova. Started 14 games in his second year. He had 3 tackles, 1 PBU, 1 interception. Look how he tracked this ball right here with Tyreek Hill. These are my undercover dogs Week 18. Hashtag undercover dogs. Help me find undercover dog for super wild card weekend. He's an undercover dog. He's an undercover dog for sure.
Well, nonetheless, as of February 1st, Pat McAfee is officially a contributor with WWE.
Living his dream to be a part of WrestleMania.
I want to see Pat McAfee tonight.
I've been preparing for this my entire life.
McAfee wins! McAfee wins! Pat McAfee has done it again! It's time to toast the boys and toast the brand. McAfee's wanted to drink beer with Stone Cold forever. Stunner!
There was a point in my life, all I could think about doing was professional wrestling.
McAfee closing in on another WrestleMania victory.
First, we're going to have to get the okays, obviously. And we did from people high up. They were the only people that knew for a while. There was like 3 people that knew in the whole world that was going to potentially be a situation for a little bit.
City of Stars, Boston Connors here. We will be there tonight. Nobody's supposed to know we're here. It's going to be tough. And if you're a man that's only known for wearing tank tops, you kind of got to cover it up. I didn't see him. Hey, I'm Pat. Nice to meet you. He's hanging in the back. One second. Here you go. I put this on my face. I can't see shit. Who's on the game?
Nobody. This is you until you go out.
Come on, dude. Let's go and take a look around. There's some bunk beds there. You know, there's a shitter and a shower here in the back.
He sat in that bus 6, 7, 8 hours, 9, 10 hours.
I'm coming down that thing. Holy fuck, what a view that's going to be. Hell yeah. Look at all those fucking people that are going to be there.
Just waiting, you know, for an opportunity to potentially have a WrestleMania moment.
It's ridiculous. This is awesome. WWE is just like the best at operating. They take care of the non-obvious. So we're very thankful to be here. And tonight should be fucking sick. Hell yeah. I think there's like 3 people that know I'm here.
Are we not supposed to come in here?
No, yeah.
All right.
4 now. Look at you.
Won't fucking say a word.
I'll see you at SoFi. You going to be in LA?
I don't know. George is, you know.
It's a loaded question.
George, we don't know. George, you don't know. Maybe.
What's up, stud?
Oh, nice. As soon as I saw George showcase that tight end university tank top, I knew there was a chance old George was about to do something special.
Are you kidding me, boys? Welcome to WrestleMania!
You know, the night was getting late. We weren't sure. We didn't know if a moment was going to pop up where maybe my services could be utilized.
I haven't been in a ring since SummerSlam. Okay, like not even in one.
All I wanted was the Miz to have an opportunity to have a
match, just
a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, good guy. Stand there.
And then the Miz mentions, I sent out an open challenge, and we go,
oh my God.
There it is.
And I put out an open challenge, and no one responded. Why? Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome!
Let's go! Wait a minute! I feel McAfee's here!
I have walked out into a stadium as a WWE superstar probably 1,000,000 times in my head.
WrestleMania was missing Pat McAfee in the Pat McAfee Show!
And I'm thankful to the WWE Universe that said hello whenever I came out on that massive fucking stage.
By the way, there's only 2 announcers undefeated in WrestleMania history, me and Pat. I can't believe McAfee's here!
Hello, beautiful people!
What's up, Snoop? What's up, Snoop?
You're a legend, dog. You're the best, dog. Hello, Miz. None of us saw this alleged open challenge that you said. But good news. This is my WrestleMania tank top. If you still would like a match, why don't you let me beat your ass right here, right now? You all want to see The Miz versus Pat McAfee right here, right now? I'm the host of WrestleMania, and I cannot make matches official. Miz, I do believe your tiny balls are showing. Tiny balls. Tiny balls. Baby meat as well. There's 80,497 people here. Somebody has to be able to make a match official somewhere.
I am the dog father and the host of WrestleMania, so I feel like I could make that match happen. Right now, we got a ref, we got you, we got you. Let's get cracking. I'm out. Let's go.
And McAfee go right after Miz with the right hand, driving Miz back into the corner. Pat McAfee in action. This is a blatant sneak attack. He takes his duties as host of WrestleMania. Oh yes, Spinebuster! This derelict shows up. And check out his tank top though. He's got sparkles on it. You're behind this, aren't you? But no, I had no idea. You said the same thing in the Rumble. I didn't know this guy was showing up. Oh, what a kick by McAfee! Miz. Hey, baby boss! Baby boss! Tiny meat! In a $7,000 tuxedo. Yeah, good. George Kittle and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not sure how wise that was. McAfee's got the official distracted in the ring. Kittle just took out Miz. Kittle telling
I had so much fun there. That was a good time. The putt was fucking hilarious. You got a tiny bulge cam going. I had a feeling. We were sitting here all day. Oh, I wanted to text you earlier. I was told not to text you.
Well, of course. Nobody fucking texts
I was
me. They all
told not to
keep
text you.
dude.
You had a hell of a show.
I'm so thankful to the people at the WWE. It was a super cool night, super cool moment, and I'm very thankful for it all.
5:30 a.m. Sunday. This day started 6:30 a.m. Saturday. So much cool shit happened in between now and then. Joke of an existence. I'm very thankful for everything. Let's go take a nap.
One. Hey. One. Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Feel Good Friday, January 12th, 2024. Hour 3 of the program starts now. Football is happening in a super fashion this weekend. That is AJ Hawk. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys turn Diggs is here. And before we make our picks, okay, we have to do a little Thunderdome business.
Have to.
Needs to be handled. During the commercial break, this happened on this floor right over here. And honestly, I don't know how we move forward with this being a situation that has occurred.
Are you kidding?
Ty was so distraught about his reaction. If we could run that back one more time, full screen on that thing, his reaction is out of a movie. He literally, he's just trying to get a water, stay hydrated, because the amount of caffeine that he takes every day is certainly dehydrating for him. We don't think it's good. We've told him numerous times. His doctor told him he needs to slow it down. He can't help it. He needs to be plugged into a computer. 1 year on our show, 1 year on the video that he's editing for TikTok and or Instagram. The man is wired pretty tight. Should not feel as if he's going to die in a Thunderdome at work either at any moment. But during the break, Ty just wanted to go say hello and give him a little startle. Watch his reaction here. This is friendly grounds. Friendly ground. Nobody's getting in here.
No, we have a great relationship, Talk and I.
Everybody would talk, I think. And here's how he responds.
Not everybody.
Jeez.
Double water throw.
Throws. It goes in his eyes.
Are you kidding?
It goes in his eyes.
He's a cartoon character.
Talk, you're doing good, bub. Talk, you're doing good, pal.
Tick.
I believe we have the video of Talk. Yeah, there it is.
He's behind you.
Yeah, there he is.
He's never going to feel safe again. He's never going to feel safe again filling his water up.
Proud of you, Talk.
Good work, Tick.
Talk, nobody's going to try to get you here, okay? You're good.
Safe place.
Hey, you're in a safe spot, okay?
Good haircut.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm in the middle of a video right now, thanks. Lombardi just called Bisaccia the wrong name.
Yeah, gotta go to dinner.
Those are tough.
Thank you, Talk.
Way to go, Tick.
That's one of the most nuclear weapon humans that has ever existed. Now, you've called somebody a nuclear weapon and they got incredibly offended and wanted you fired.
Yeah, true.
Could you imagine you did that whenever we were on ESPN, how loud that would have got?
Oh, boy. I actually haven't thought about that, but you're right.
I just thought of it the first time.
Now, when you say that, you mean like he grew up next to a nuclear power plant, right? Like too close to the reactor?
No, I mean like a weapon is somebody that can cause mass destruction in a good way.
Yes.
The output that comes from weapon is something that is not expected.
No.
Nuclear weapon is like, this is a machine.
Yeah,
this
get out of the way.
is mass production somehow out of a thing that should not be as productive. We all watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Okay, that thing, pretty relatively size-wise to what it was able to do. And obviously that ended up much more serious. I think there's still some hard feelings, as there should be, a couple generations change. We're talking about human nuclear weapon who seemingly gets 10 people's worth of work done in one 8-hour period.
Yes.
And they run 6 miles on the treadmill, and you hear every step.
Yeah.
He claps. His feet clap on the treadmill. I've never heard it before. 6 miles.
Yep. Like he's running in flippers.
They don't go home. All right, guys. Happy. Comes back. Put it on repeat.
Yep.
We appreciate you, Talk, but
Love you, Talk.
you need to not be, skittish.
You should have seen him in his heyday too.
What's that?
Boy, oh boy, he's got a lot more nicknames. Let's just say when I met Talk, the first time I ever met Talk, it was the first night of college, and he was passed out in the quad like a starfish. not like hidden behind a bush. Starfish, middle of the walkway to get into a building. That's the first time I ever saw that kid.
Well, I could see how you'd want to befriend that type of man.
Bingo.
But also, I could see how that could be how Talk kind of came up. Whatever got you to this point, Talk, you should be proud of it all.
Amen.
You know,
Absolutely.
And, keep going. All right, I think as we wrap up, I think it's time.
Let's do this.
Don't you think, AJ?
What are the records at right now? What happened after last weekend?
So we're tied.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We are completely tied.
Wow.
6-5 on the season, both of us.
How do you guys do this?
Well, it's
How's this happen?
It's because picking games isn't easy.
No. Right.
It's not easy.
Both of you, though, here. Jeez.
I mean, AJ going 12-4 in the last week.
Pretty good.
Phenomenal. 10-6. I'm pumped. I made money last week.
Hey,
Oh,
should
yeah.
be.
A lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
The Colts won.
Yeah.
Goodson.
Yeah, the Stroud House. Tough. I'm sorry. Who was I rooting for
Stroud House.
on Saturday night? Who was I
Don't
rooting
echo
for?
it. We need to stop saying that. NRG Stadium is the Stroud House.
Right.
Okay, down in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got something here with the Lions.
I agree.
So don't be trying to ruin it.
I'm not
You
trying-
have to live here. Okay? CJ comes to town one time.
That's true.
Yeah.
We get a chance to experience that thing. Maybe. We'll see. Still, contract has not been signed.
Okay.
There are some things that we have to negotiate.
No, you don't say.
For us to potentially be back in there. Business will be business, but let's assume we're back in there. We need the Lot House to continue.
I agree.
Yeah, but you're continuing to try to rebrand it.
No. I think we need to take it back. I don't want to rebrand it, but this is just something. This is a Burrowhead situation. When things happen of this nature, you have to.
I hope we got the Houston Texans week 1 at home.
Me too.
That's
Exactly.
That's what I hope happens.
I completely agree.
Might.
Well, C.J. Stroud, just another offseason under his belt, and now he's got playoff game experience. I'm sure he's going to get worse.
Yeah, it might not be at home either, because if they win it all, then they'd have to do banner night in NRG.
Okay, so our first home game, though, first quarter of the season, I would like that to happen so that we can potentially, Anthony Richardson saying all the right things, by the way.
Yes, he is.
He's hilarious.
Good answers.
Great answers.
Great answer.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's an entertaining human and football player.
Right.
Very.
Just need him to survive. AFC South, packed, except for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about them for the next 50 years, because that franchise will never win anything significant.
I don't know if that's true.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Have you heard this, AJ? This is his thing. It's the Vrabel curse is what he's calling it. This is a Vrabel curse. They are a poverty franchise, I believe is what you called them.
Quote unquote, yes, that is what I said.
You're quote unquoting yourself.
I'm quote unquoting myself, yes.
Yeah, it's terrible. It means they're at the bottom. Their stadium was falling apart this year, but they just put out some
renderings
of the new stadium.
Sick.
Beautiful.
Yeah. See you 2040.
Nashville, that's when it's Nashville, beautiful. Perfect city.
Love Nashville.
Would love to be able to live there potentially.
Absolutely.
And have a team that is great at football, but I don't know. You can prove us wrong, obviously, down there.
Yeah.
But that feels like a situation that is maybe, staring down a couple.
What if they hire Bill Belichick? They still have the curse?
Uh-oh. I don't know if they're going to do that. If there was already issues with Vrabel in the GM, allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bill Belichick should come in.
I know.
Yeah, Rand.
Let's do it, Rand.
I don't know if that's gonna,
Whatever you want to do, Rand. It's up to you. I'll just coach the guys.
This is exactly what I said about Guti, though, too. Like, do we know if Guti is a guy or not? Had not done, and they have proven it this year. They make the playoffs in the first year with all his team, basically, that he collected. Rand, same exact thing. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Is Rand the guy? Is Amy involved? How much? Who's going to be the coach that leads them? The Washington Commanders hired a general manager from San Francisco.
Yeah. There you go, Commies.
Congrats to Adam, I think his name.
Yeah.
Peters.
Peters.
Pissed.
Yeah, congrats to him. How come?
I wasn't too happy about it. He was a scout in New England. Yeah, I don't
wanted
know
him.
if it says it there, but he was a scout in 2003, 2008. He was one of the guys that brought in Mayo. I thought he was a great fit, but we'll get somebody who's way better.
The good news about like the GM hires is we don't know shit about any of them.
No, we don't.
You know, who got hired? Wow, been in the league 30 years.
Okay.
Okay.
This guy's a stud.
Wow, big brain, huh? And then either great or terrible, and then we're restarting the whole process of not knowing who the fuck they're hiring anyways. Excited for Super Wildcard Weekend. We are currently 6-6-5 against each other. This is going to have heavy implications on the show for the entire offseason. Let's start with the Browns traveling to Stradhouse NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. The Browns favored by 2 right now. It was once 3, I believe.
It was 2.5 and 3, yeah.
Now it's at 2. CJ and the boys are getting points at home. Home dogs.
8-3-2 the last 10 seasons.
In the playoffs.
And that's probably because Denzel Ward with the knee.
Got injured in practice. That's a massive piece of it. Chuck Pagano yesterday said they'll go man against those guys, and then they'll try to bring the house and the pressure on C.J. Stroud. Now that you lose one of your man guys, will the backup be able to do that? Will you have to transfer? Will you not be as pressure-oriented on C.J. Stroud? What does that mean for the offense? We don't know. Browns, Texans, 2-point spread. Home dogs, AJ. Who do you like?
So, yeah, I'm surrounded by a lot of Browns fans here in Ohio. They are very, very excited about what Joe Flacco has done with this team and where they're going. But, man, when I look at it, obviously CJ's awesome. He's going to be awesome for a long time. But I'm taking the Browns here. I think they have a little bit of magic left still in them. So give me the Browns -2.
All right, I saw this Houston Texans team with my own eyes. They're good.
Very.
They are.
They're resilient.
Yep. Know their dogs.
Yeah. They have that they don't know what they don't know type thing. 2 points at home. I'll take it. Give me the Texans. Dolphins, Kansas City Chiefs, 4.5-point spread. Everybody, I think, that has a microphone in front of them right now loves the under of 43.5 with this being negative 20-plus degrees. AJ, you agree with that? That decision was made in the first hour.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Okay, so this is a team bet. This is...
Yeah, group under.
Group.
We got 25-mile-an-hour winds, right? Isn't it 25-mile-an-hour winds probably?
Well, it's negative 25 wind chill, which we assume would indicate that there is a lot of wind coming through. Kansas City's always windy, it feels like. So, yeah, it's going to be brisk. It's going to be cold. If both teams were to score 22 points, we would be very impressed, I think.
Yes.
Which is what it would have to get to 44. So I think we all like the under here, which take that however you want. Dolphins, Kansas City, 4.5-point dogs are the Miami Dolphins traveling to the bitter cold Kansas City.
Man, I'm taking Kansas City here. I just don't feel great. I understand that Miami's record in the cold and all of this, they're coming up. It's not even just that. I just think this is very tough conditions. They're coming up for Miami. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing for the Kansas City players, but they've handled it before. We've seen old Patty Mahomes play in the cold, in the wind. Give me the Chiefs. Is Pacheco healthy? I think that makes a big difference for myself as well.
Believe he is playing. Yep.
I believe he.
I love Pacheco. Give him the ball. Give him the ball.
And they will. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire will probably come in a little bit, beat him up. The Miami Dolphins can run the ball, though, which is something that is forgotten in this convo about the high-speed track meet. Now, will they be able to get everybody buying in as much as Kansas City will have to? Coming from Miami, negative 20, bro.
Yeah.
That's just a game changer. Nobody's going to be comfortable. All right, let's go with the...
Who you got?
Chiefs. Give me the Dolphins, plus 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chiefs win.
4.5 is a lot. 4.5 is a lot in this weather, I feel like.
Yeah, with the win, this could easily come down to a 2-point conversion.
I think Chiefs win, and I love the Chiefs, but I think Dolphins plus 4.5 feels good.
Public was heavy on the Browns, almost 80%, and then 56% on the Chiefs.
Oh, wow.
Look at me.
Good split.
I'm going against Public.
Okay.
I'm a shop. I don't know how to explain it, but I am a shop. Patty shops, Patty shops, Patty shops, what do I know? Shit. Steelers, Bills, lot of snow, lot of wind. Steelers getting 10 without TJ Watt, taking on a smoking hot Buffalo Bills team.
10 points in a playoff game. When was the last time this happened in a playoff game? 10-point spread, especially in a terrible weather game as well.
I think we're going to have Poyer on us here in a few minutes. We were supposed to have him on like 10 minutes ago. I completely forgot about that. Friend of the program. We'll get his thoughts. Let's not pick this game yet until after we talk to Poyer. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
That feels like the right play.
7 seeds, as Lombo said, since they've gone to the 7th seed, have not won. And also, double-digit faves have been good in the wild card round.
Okay, I like that a lot. Let's figure out how Poyer's feeling whenever we'll make that choice after we talk to him. Packers traveling to Dallas, 7-point spread. Cowboys favored by 7. Heavy implications allegedly for potentially both head coaches here, even though we have no idea what's real and what isn't. AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
Man, 7 points, it does feel like a lot. Cowboys are rolling, but give me the Packers here. I think the Packers, as Ty said, yeah, you could say they're playing with house money, all of this stuff, but I feel like there is much more pressure on this Dallas Cowboys team. The Cowboys could still win, but give me the Packers plus 7.
Okay.
I think the Packers could win this game, too. So, that's what I'm...
I will roll with you there. Rams, Lions, 3-point spread. Lions favored at home. Evan Fox already rolled out and laid out how he sees this game ending. And that's with the Lions getting a pick on Matthew Stafford as he's trying to drive down one last time in Detroit to get a massive win. We all know the storylines. Jared Goff kicked out of L.A. seemingly by Sean McVay and the Rams. Matthew Stafford goes over, delivers a Super Bowl. Now the Lions, the brand new Lions, are the hot team. Who do you like? How do you like it, AJ?
Man, I tell you what, that's going to break Foxy's heart, but I like the Rams here on the road plus 3. Sorry, Foxy. But if the Lions do win, I'm not going to be upset. I'll be happy for them.
Okay, give me the Detroit Football Lions.
Let's go.
Favored by 3. We'll do the Monday Night Football pick on Monday. We have some breaking news out of the college football world. Kalen DeBoer, head coach of the Washington Huskies, formerly Sioux Falls as well, is now the head coach at the University of Alabama.
Wow. Holy shit.
Congrats to DeBoer. He obviously built up a monster in Washington in just 2 short years. I know all their fans and the Seattle folks and the West Coast football people are not going to be happy with his big brain and leadership leaving Washington to head to Alabama. But now he has a system in place where he's going to be able to win a natty if he's able to do it. Now, obviously, Washington was able to get there this past year, but with Alabama, the SEC, recruiting, everything he's going to have at his disposal. With Nick Saban in the building as well. What a perfect hire. He's a vet, even though he's kind of new to the big league conversations. I think this is perfect for all parties except for Washington. Congrats to Kalen, who I love a lot, and congrats to Bama getting a great one.
Yeah, DeBoer, you know him better than I do, but he seems, obviously we know what his resume is as a coach and how good of a coach he is, but he seems to get it. Seems to be a good dude that kind of understands everything going on. He has he feels like he has a young vibe about him and how he interacts with guys. So yeah, I think it's an awesome hire.
Has coached in a lot of games.
Yes.
Has a lot of experience. Loves ball. Absolutely loves ball. And I love this move. Congrats to him. Congrats to Jimmy Sexton as well. The agent for Saban, and DeBoer, and Norvell, and Sarkisian. Everybody's getting raises. Everybody's getting raises. Congrats to them all. All right, let's move back to the NFL. And we've left this man waiting for 15 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
That is 100% our fault.
Sorry.
I got caught up.
Yeah.
Talk got scared to live in daylights out of him during commercial break. And then we got excited to pick the games. Joining us now, All-Pro Poe from the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Poyer.
Thank you guys always for having me on, man. It's good to see you guys again. You guys have been all over the media, man, and I'm here for it all.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, well, we're thinking about canceling you, too. And suspending you, too. Don't you worry about that. I mean, that was a thought, and obviously never happened to anybody, ever. Anyways, Jordan, massive weekend. You know, they're talking about what it's going to be like there. We had Jim Cantori on, the 37-year weatherman for the Weather Channel, talking about the snow and the wind. Has it already started? Have you guys talked about it? That's just Buffalo football right in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's Buffalo football, man. It's snow started coming about last week, pretty heavy. Snow pretty good last night. This weekend is going to be a mix of snow, rain, sleet, probably some hail in there, and it's just going to be some wind, and it's going to be fun, man. We're excited about the opportunity. You got Pittsburgh coming to town. It's what we want. We're in the mix, man. A lot of people counted us out midway through the season, and we fought our way back, and here we are.
Go ahead, AJ.
What do you guys see when you watch Mason Rudolph on film? I mean, that guy's been slinging it the last few weeks, especially. When you watch him, what's the plan? Obviously, the weather is going to be a huge factor in this game, but how do you feel about your plan moving forward?
Yeah, we feel good about the plan, man. Obviously, a really good football team. He's got some really good players around him that allow him to do some of the things he's been able to do. And, I mean, he's won some games. They're 3-0 with him, even the last 3 games with him. So, they got some really good backs. Obviously, really, really good skill positions in Pickens and Deontay and So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be one of them smash mouth old school style football games. We feel like, just a physical style game. Wet weather and wind and it's exciting times out here in Buffalo.
Feels like you love those old school style football games. I've seen you more this year make a hit.
Oh yeah.
Right? Has that always been the move, or this year a little bit more?
A little bit more. A little bit more of that. Yeah. I like to think I play a little bit bigger than 198 pounds. So, I try to play like I'm 210 out there sometimes. And sometimes you just got to lay it out there, man. Just F it. Go out there and just hit something.
Your energy radiates through the screen. Tone Diggs has a question for you.
Yeah, Jordan, simple question. Are you ready for the noise?
Oh.
What? The noise? The noise to be brought in, okay? Simple question.
Yeah. Answer the question, dude.
Absolutely. The noise. I'm ready for terrible towels in the stands. I'm ready for it all, I'm ready. That's a nice helmet on you, though, right there.
Thank you, Jordan.
Might need a couple sizes smaller, though.
Love
it.
Swing.
I was just about to say I love you. I wish you all the best of luck, and
I
hope
appreciate
everyone
it.
stays
Thank you,
healthy.
brother. Thank you, brother.
Hey, the governor of your state said something about Steelers fans. Tell them to stay home, tune in. It's not going to end up good for you anyways. This Buffalo Bills story this year, vastly, awesome. I love it. She also opened up the booze, remember?
Yeah, when they were in London.
Yeah, for like 9 a.m. booze. Yeah, whatever. Last call is 4 a.m. We'll open that thing up at 7 a.m. At least 3 hours. Everybody needs to not drink. I appreciate that. And them getting involved. This Buffalo Bills season, okay, for you guys, a lot different, I think, than the past couple of years. Obviously, how could anything replicate what you guys did last year? But the conversation has been, how have the Bills Mafia been with you guys? How has Bills Mafia kind of responded in this particular year? And what do you expect this weekend from them?
I mean, every season is its own season, right? You go through your own adversities, your own things, and us as a team, there's, like I said, there's been a lot of outside noise outside of this building. Shoot, even from, you could argue, some of the people within the community, counting us out, and but our true fans stuck with us all season long. They believed in us. We believed in ourselves, and understanding it is a long season. We were 6-6 at one point. A lot of people counted us out, but we understood the type of football team we are. The culture that we built here, and I mean that's ultimately why we were able to come back in the mix at the end of the season. We stuck together, and it didn't matter what anything else outside of this building said. There was articles written about our coach trying to just really put a dagger in the team, into him, and nobody blinked, and we stuck behind him, man, and really started that Jets game at home after that article came out, and we just hit the ground running, beat some really good teams, and obviously got another really good football team coming in here this Sunday. So we're gonna have to play extremely well to win. But it's been. I'm proud of the guys, man. Obviously, job's not finished, but just being able to overcome what we've overcame over the year, man, it says a lot about this football team.
Speaking of that article, I love hearing that. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Jordan, after that came out, and even before that, a lot of the media was kind of talking about almost like a fracturing in the locker room. And then we saw the video after the hit piece came out of you guys getting the big win, and McDermott obviously getting emotional in the locker room, and Brandon Beane saying, this is our fucking guy. We'll always go to war with him, and everyone kind of coming together. Does it feel like you guys are tighter now than you have been at any point? I mean, obviously you went through a bunch of shit last year, but does it feel like the locker room as a whole, with everything you've dealt with and with the hit piece, is kind of more unified and together at this point right now than you have been in the last couple of years?
Absolutely, but I think you could argue it's just like the culture that we've built. Guys like Deion Dawkins right here, and Micah Hyde, and the Matt Milanos, and the guys that have been here and established and Josh Allen, the guys that have been here and established what this culture is going to be like in 2017, and ultimately that's what we leaned on when we were struggling. We leaned on each other, and there's a lot of trust within each other in the locker room, and we're all boys. This is one of the closest teams that I've ever been on. Hanging out off the field, just joking around inside the building, man, and that's ultimately when it comes down to the nitty gritty, the fourth quarter. You want those guys that you trust. You want those guys that are your brothers, that you trust, and go out there and just play, and then let the chips fall how they fall. But like I said, we've been really fortunate to have the group of guys that we've had, the coaches that we've had, in order to build what we've been able to build. And now ultimately the last thing we got to do is go get a ring. So we're in the mix right now, and here we are. So why not? So it's gonna be fun.
I'm happy to hear that your locker room still as tight as it has seemingly been over the last few years, because whenever things start going south, that's whenever you really test the relationships. Feels like you guys have only grown stronger through all of this. That's beautiful. Go ahead, AJ.
Jordan, how's your I believe the pan drum? Is it with the pan drum?
Yeah.
How's that career going?
It's going really good. I actually had a company who found out that I played handpans, and they actually sent me one here to my facility. So I got some of the guys in there interested about playing it, and I go in there and I'll play it at the end of the day and just enjoy it. It's been fun, man. I've been enjoying it. I'll send you guys a video one of these times. You'll have to put it up here.
So we've seen one of the videos before. You had no shoes on. Remember, you were sitting in front of a room. There's somebody standing next to you
on stage.
What was that? A certain song you were playing? Do you remember?
Nah, it's really just
cross,
a trance.
buns.
There it is. It's really just a trance. You kind of go into and like get into a meditative state, and it really just you go how you flow. There are certain songs you can play. I don't really know a whole lot of songs to per se, but the instrument it's a puzzle. You just kind of play it how it goes. You understand where the notes are, and you just play it how you feel. And that's why I love about the instrument, because there's really no wrong way to play it.
So it's just a constant freestyle of banging on this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a way to play. You ain't just banging on it. There's definitely a way to play. But it's a very fun instrument. I'll show you. I'll teach you one of these days.
Did you play any other instruments before this particular handpan situation?
I tried to play the harmonica. Interestingly enough, when I left Costa Rica after I did my woods retreat that you guys call it, I came back and I tried to play the harmonica for about 2 months. It just wasn't fitting my style. And then I picked up the hand drum, and that was more the handpan, and that was more my style to enjoy.
What are you talking about? Woods trip, Costa Rica? I didn't know there was woods in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I
I went and did ayahuasca in Costa Rica this last month. Following A-Rod's footsteps, man. Really just a blessing that he was able to open so many doors for me and open so many minds. It was so I followed his footsteps and went out there. It was truly remarkable.
I want to let you know the woods trip is different from the jungle trip.
Yes.
There's different trips.
I got you. I thought we were on the same. My fault.
No, yeah, the woods one, we just learned about this, obviously, the last couple of days. I can't wait to see if you go and do this one. I think it revolves around no service, out in the middle of nowhere, meditation. I think
That's what we all need.
You know what?
That's what we all need.
Amen.
It would be nice to have that. It would be nice to have that every once in a while.
Detach a little bit, and get away from all the cell phones, all the noise outside, and just go connect with yourself. That's what we all need.
Let's have a moment of that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Get the pan drum.
You're being loud.
Absolutely love it, yo.
No, you're being an asshole. You're being loud.
I love it.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Jordan, was it better than you thought it was going to be?
Yes. It was so much better than I thought it was.
Well, this isn't. As
You guys are really
You guys are ruining this entire
You guys
thing.
can't tune them
I'm
out?
kind of interested in this.
Well, we
Kinda
will get
interested
to
in
it
the
then.
trip.
After, how about the moment of Zen? Can we not have a moment of Zen, please?
Here we
AJ?
go. Got it. I got you. Yeah. Mhm.
That was good, wasn't it?
That was
Doesn't it feel good?
Good.
That was good.
Great. I was like 10 seconds. Imagine you do 10 minutes a day.
All right, so let's. Well, there's no way, but
That's a lot.
That's a lot of quiet
homes.
time. I need it certainly, but maybe someday. So, did you go attic and basement there? Whenever? Yeah.
I went to a place called Resonance in Jaco, Costa Rica.
Resonance Inn.
A beautiful place with beautiful people. I went with my cousin Logan. Him and I went last March to go sit with the medicine, and we're actually going again this March again in the same place. Bring my mom and bring my brother this time, and bring my cousin and a couple teammates. So it's going to be. We're excited about it.
That's awesome. Because all me and AJ really know about it, because we're children, okay, is that obviously it's very enlightening. People, after experiencing it, military, PTSD, people that are potentially searching for a different feeling of some sort about self or life, I think, is everybody's talking about it. But then AJ and I read one time that you're puking and you're dumping same time.
Yep.
Is that part of the whole thing?
I mean, I would say part of it has to do with the diet that you go on beforehand, and really the purging is what they call it. That's more of just releasing all the bad energy, all the bad toxins that you have in your body. So really the diet the month prior really prepares you for that medicine. So I actually did not throw up or go to the number 2 at all. I did everything to a T. The diet was right. I was really clean going into it.
Okay.
So I really got to experience it without having to purge. But I do hear the purging part is just part of it, and it's very, very fascinating stuff when you actually dive into it.
That change, yes, absolutely fascinating, especially with all the results that people have gotten. Yeah, I kind of changed it a little bit because I thought I was just going in the middle of the jungle and just,
Yeah.
Now it turns out that's not the case.
We should do that.
Nah, it doesn't happen to everybody. No.
You going in the woods before what's from now until Sunday? What's playing? I guess you can't do much because of the weather, I assume.
Yeah, go home, do some meditation, get some massage, play some crystal bowls. I'm about to go play some crystal bowls for the guys right now, some sound bowls. If you guys ever sound bowls meditation, you sit and you play. There's little crystal bowls.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting you guys on some stuff now. You guys gotta pay attention. See, it's a lot in the world that we don't know about.
I think this is the right. You're doing this thing with the cup.
Yes, with the bowls, big large bowls. There you go. See, you already.
Where do you do that in the facility? They set your room up in there?
We have meditation. We have a meditation room in our facility.
That's awesome. Wow.
That is fantastic. That is, I assume, relatively new.
To be honest, this year, Dr. Dez, I think she fixed that meditation room up. We got a nice little waterfall in there with some fake trees, but they're real trees to us. Yeah, it's actually really cool.
You just said they were fake, so they're not real.
Yeah, but it's just how you look at it.
The mindset. It's all the mindset, which is all we're worried about. How is the mindset at this stage of the year going into this weekend?
Great, man. I'm in a great place. We're in a great place. This is what you play for. You play for these moments. You play for opportunities like this. Come on and chit chat with y'all, and then ultimately go out there and play a game that you grew up loving for your whole life in a playoff game. This is what you play for.
You can come on and talk to us, whatever, even when you lose. So you can lose your way into talking to us.
Don't worry.
You know what I mean? Con Man has a question for you, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan, although I am a Patriots fan, I do hope that the Super Bowl champion comes out of the AFC East. So just a word to the wise here. This isn't a question. This is just advice that you should think about. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe it was around week 10. They did something that is basically an NFL curse, self-imposed. They picked up the terrible towel and they disrespected it, and then they obviously ended up finishing the season, I think, 3-6 after doing that. So if you do, when you do win this weekend, you got to tell the team, hey, if you see something yellow and if it's a terrible towel,
leave it.
Don't even look at it.
Don't pick it up.
Yes.
Don't even look at it, huh?
Seriously.
Yeah, no. My dad grew up a Steelers fan. I'm pretty sure he still is a Steelers fan. He's coming to the game this weekend, so I don't know who's cheering for it. But that's one thing he told me. Don't ever pick up one of those Steelers flags and twirl that, son. It's a curse. Don't ever do it.
Okay.
So,
Hey, your dad's probably going to be wearing, so my dad, diehard Steelers fan as well. So Colts went to play the Steelers, and I was like, I'm excited to see how my dad handled this. He wore all black Colts shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Even the lettering was blacked out.
Smart.
Just like he's, Colts. It's Colts shirt, but long before the Colts. I assume he's wearing something similar to that.
Probably.
Make sure the boys, though, do pick up those Bildos.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
It's good luck.
Frozen Bildo game. You guys are win
Bills fans, bring the Bildos out.
Whoa, we
there
want to
it
be a
is.
part of that. We've got a long enough week.
No, that was him.
Sorry,
That was
sorry.
him.
That was it. That was
Sorry.
If
this
there was
guy.
to, yeah.
Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me now.
You know what? You're suspended. Suspended from the show. We'll let you know forever. We appreciate you joining us, man. We can't wait to talk to you. Maybe next week we get a chance to talk to you.
Do it.
Nice.
Let's do it. We'll dive deeper into some meditation and some hand pan.
Yeah.
Woo! I got something for you guys.
Let's just stay there. Let's just stay there.
That's right.
You know?
Stay there. Like that.
And if you venture somewhere else, just know that when you get off the show and you go to your meditation room in the building and everything like that, my shin's normally just being what? And I will take it for you. If that's what you would like. That's just something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. All pro-po of the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Poyer. Thank you, Jordan. All right, let's put that game. We got to pick the Bills, right?
Yep.
Hey, thank you, Jordan. We love you, man.
Dog.
Big fan of his.
I love him.
Yeah, he's the best.
He sat and waited for 10 minutes. I feel terrible.
Nice guy.
Give me the
Had all those guys waiting for him in the meditation room too.
Well, because he's about to go play some of the
Hand pan.
He plays every unique.
right.
You play every unique instrument there is.
I mean, I could play this one, I think. I tried. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's
I'm
some-
taking the Bills minus 10, obviously.
Yep, me too after that.
Okay.
TJ Watt's not playing, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big part of it.
There are people.
What's your guys' record without TJ Watt?
Not good. I think 1-11.
Yeah, it's one.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did Jordan say if he was ready for the noise to be brought in?
Yeah, that's true.
I believe that's the Sean William Scott line against The Rock in
The Rundown.
The Rundown.
Great movie. They went out in the jungle, right?
And The Rock was ready for the noise?
And they took hallucinogenics.
Well,
Not on purpose.
I think Oh, I like the Steelers maybe. 10 points?
That's a lot.
With that weather?
In the snow.
So this is a bit of a math game in the gambling world. When the total is 35 and you have a dog of 10, it's really hard to cover a 10-point game when the total is expected to be 35.
And
if that makes sense.
The Steelers their run game has been unbelievable.
No TJ Watt, though.
No TJ Watt, but
Minka is playing allegedly. That's
Everyone is in but TJ.
All right, give me the Steelers plus 10, even though I think Bills win.
Yep.
Pete Dan was on TV over there. That's fantastic. There's a country musician that made his picks last night on the internet. Let's see what he went with. I don't know if you've seen this, AJ. Listen to Breland just break it down here last night.
I got the Texans over Browns. Flacco made a comeback, but he'll come back to the ground. AFC done got a little different in the South.
What the hell is this?
What's
wrong with you?
Listen.
I thought it was going to be Jelly Roll or something.
Both have had an underwhelming past couple of weeks.
This is Breland.
I would pick Miami if it wasn't
5 degrees.
I predict Pacheco for
100 yards at least.
Give the Swifties what they need.
Just like you, AJ.
Bills about to close the steel curtain. I'm almost certain Josh Allen really put in work.
He is.
Sadly, TJ watching from the sidelines. James about to cook some Pittsburghers and
Prime time.
Good line.
The Packers pulling up, set you never
Hell yeah.
Love is up next Sunday, he gon' let it show. Dallas see a rush threat, all right.
Here we go.
Do you really trust that to take him to the
Right here,
Super
supposed to say,
Bowl?
hell no.
Then it's Stafford coming back
Yeah.
to face the old squad.
Especially being a Birds
Catch a
fan.
couple Puka probably goes off. But Dan Campbell's proving they ain't no frauds. I think the Lions win, but it's a close call.
Yes.
Then the Birds against the Bucks. It's been a little rough, but I still think we get a dub. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, push might come to shove.
Oh.
Smith and Swift and AJ Brown, I think we got enough to show the world we still the ones. Yeah.
That was good, actually. You were hating early. You didn't think it was going to be good. Just like I thought.
I came around. Yeah. At first, I'm thinking, what is this? And then I say, oh, this guy's talented. He's good. It's actually very entertaining.
But same exact. I couldn't be more exact how I responded. Showed up in my, I follow him. He and I met each other on a flight before.
Oh.
So I got to learn about him and everything. Cool guy. And usually his lyrics to his song, he's got a great pen. Now he's a country musician, but he does a lot of rap and pop. So I don't know if the country people are necessarily as pumped that he's considered a country, but he can sing his fucking ass off.
Yeah.
He's very, very talented. So he and I have followed each other. So that showed up in my DMs. I was scared to watch it. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
So uncomfortable. I might have to unfollow this guy.
Yeah.
We had one plane ride together. I don't need this showing up in my life.
No.
Then I watch it. I'm like, pretty clever.
Yeah.
He's good.
Pretty good. You got a Pacheco, TJ watching. Oh,
Good.
think it's a close call up there in Detroit.
Spot on.
Foxy, what's the final score of that Detroit Lions Los Angeles Rams game?
I'll actually go with him, 28-24. I think it comes right down to the end, just like we all visualized, and the Lions win it at the end. I'm very, very, very excited. This is only the 4th playoff game I'll ever witness as a Detroit Lions fan.
And Matthew Stafford's there.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's like a little nostalgia, but a little bit of the future.
Full circle.
There's the picture of the same old Lions, and then here's the brand new Lions.
I can't imagine a more meaningful win than them to beat Stafford here. Like, this is amazing.
More devastating loss.
It would be pretty
devastating. Clap.
I don't view it that way, to be honest. Like I just said, we've only seen 4 playoff games. We won the division. We had a great season. Like, this is what you play for. This is why when I'm a fan of a team that
AJ,
sucks
thank
year
you.
after year after year after year.
Thank you.
We are literally the worst franchise in all of sports. So, like, this is awesome. I'm very pumped up.
Yeah, you won the NFC North.
Yeah.
You already got a banner.
Yep.
Everything else is house money.
Who cares about winning the division?
Thank you.
What are you talking about? It's the Detroit Football Lions.
Bingo.
I know, but we've already raised the standard, Foxy. Don't lower the standard. Dan Campbell raised the standard. You're bringing it back down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not. I want to win, obviously. I'm just saying it's not going to be like that devastating. We got next year. If we lose, it is what it is.
That's what the Eagles said. That's what the Eagles said last year.
Oh, they're in it still.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. In a much different way, they are in it.
Jalen Hurts. I heard Deshaun Jackson say he don't think a finger is going to keep you.
Why would it?
No. Now, granted, his quarterback has to use his
Is he throwing yet?
Has he thrown a football yet?
Not this week.
That is certainly a
That
question.
stinks.
That does stink. We'll talk about that on Monday.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's enjoy Super Wild Card Weekend.
Let's go.
We thank you all so much for a hell of a week. Hell of a week.
Truly.
I've aged 10 to 15 years this week.
Yeah.
I've been on more calls than I think ever. And I would like to reiterate the fact that all of us are pumped, that we are aligned with ESPN.
Absolutely.
And the people that really matter in this whole thing are very appreciative that we are with ESPN. So this week was certainly a with a lot of people from the outside saying a lot of things. And, you know, how something has been for a long time doesn't mean that's how it has to be, especially whenever there's new leadership, you know, at the top of a place. So there's been a lot of things that could have potentially ruined us and railroaded this and, you know, did that. And hey, listen, we know we were a part of it. But a lot of people wanted to see that from their side. A lot of our people wanted to do I told you so's.
For sure.
And I think what I've been told, hey, we move on.
Yep.
And it's like, hell yeah.
Nice.
I actually was told a story about, you know, a bone breaking and then that bone callousing and recovering and then becoming stronger than any other bone in the body. And it's like, but if it wasn't for the callousing and the scars and everything that happens, it wouldn't build up strength. Every relationship is built on potential moments of adversity where can you get through it or do you call it quits? I think both sides here have continued to say, we move forward.
Hell yeah.
And I'm very thankful for that. And I'm pumped for that. And I think the future with this partnership is only going to get bigger, better, and more awesome, which I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
It's just beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people giving it a couple more months, though. That's what I saw a lot of projections.
We'll see.
On the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all done exactly what we said we were going to do.
Bingo.
Now, we've added certainly a few.
Sure.
Mix it up.
Breaking balls. There's a couple breaking balls.
Guess what? That's going to happen. You know what? And you just got to foul it off and then be sitting dead red for when that fastball comes.
We had both political parties hate us this week.
Yep.
And we had both political parties love us this week.
That was a good reminder.
That none of them matter.
Yep.
We appreciate you all, though. I did learn a lot about media this week. About how, like, well, that's not true.
Yeah.
Whoa! Whoa! Boom, bang, boom, boom, boom. Now it's the story and the narrative. It's like none of that was true ever. Well, that's what you said. No, it's how you took. That's how you took.
Yeah. The Aaron suspension thing is so stupid. That's annoyed the hell out of me. Like people saying to me, "But what are you talking about?" I'm like, okay, yeah, never. I can't even like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you said. No, I said
Working.
Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, season 4 is over. Yeah. You know, and he won't be here for the rest of the season because his off season has started.
That's life.
You know, this is literally gone. Well, that's not. You're not. That's not.
That's not what you said, though.
It's like that's how you read.
Yeah. Hear what you want to hear.
Correct.
Kind of.
Yeah. And I'll say what you need to say.
Say what you need to say. Say what you need.
Let's have a fun weekend, man. Let's enjoy the hell out of football. Let's enjoy the hell out of this life. And we're thankful that we are able to do this for a living. And hopefully we'll be able to do this at least for another week.
Absolutely.
That's all you can do. One day at a time.
There was a lot of thoughts, though. Yeah. There was a couple different moments this week where it was like,
you know what?
Is this what I want to do in my life? Is this what I retired from kicking balls to do? Be in the middle of every fucking war that is currently taking place? And then you think to all the goodness that has come from this particular profession. Like watching you boys all grow into the men that you are. And then you think about our people that supported us and have supported us since before COVID, through COVID, to now. And it's like, hey, we built up a pretty cool little thing here. Just a couple shots to the shins and to the gut sack.
Sure. Yeah.
Got to take that.
Yeah.
That's going to come with the venture, going to come with the territory. I also believe our show was potentially introduced to too many people too quickly.
Could have been.
That'll be a hindsight. That'll be a hindsight looking back documentary book kind of takeaway probably. A lot of people introduced to the doofuses that talk about sports, you know, quickly in a time. And we all know throughout my entire being, you drop me in front of humans, certain groups of humans, it's going to take a little bit for them to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I hate this guy. Oh, this is every day, this fucking guy. And that's we're working through that.
Yep.
We're working through that. We are working through that literally as we go. So we thank everybody. Thank you for the love and support this week. We saw a lot of that. Thank you for following along. And thank you to sports for being fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll, Kalen DeBoer's now at Alabama. Saban's retired. This week in sports has been phenomenal. The national championship happened on Monday. Here we go. Next week's going to only get better. Enjoy Super Wild Card Weekend. I hope everybody wins every single bet. You're the greatest humans of all time for allowing us to do this every day. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. That's real. Goodbye. See you Monday.